Morning. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the program. My name is Dean. Here we are singing and dancing. Here we are looking at pictures of Jordan Peterson crying because he's a huge pussy who seriously fucked in the head. Hello, everyone. I thought I'd start off the show with a little fucking number. Hi, nice to see you. My name is Dean. That is my friend Ryan Lindley from the Sheeple Shepherd podcast here at DeanBlundell.com podcast network. That is Lachlan Cross from 95.7 Cruise FM in Edmonton. Follow him at Lachlan Cross on Twitter, at Ryan Lindley on Twitter.
Follow you back.
Which is a shame. You shouldn't do that. And Paulie's World is my friend Paul Atkinson. You may remember him as Blue Jacket guy in Ottawa. I know him as one of two hosts on the True Eager Beaver Podcast here at DeanBlundell.com, which you can download and subscribe to anytime you want, because it's just a fucking gas is what it is. It's Paul.
Are you the chipmunk or the beaver?
No, hold on. What is Mr. Beaver?
You're the beaver.
I'm Mr. Grizzly.
You're Mr.
Oh, you're Grizzly.
Sorry.
The other guy's beaver. Okay.
Yeah, idiot. If you haven't seen it, it's fucking awesome.
And Ryan is Mr. Otter.
I did get a name the last time I was on that show.
Were you on the show?
An honorary name, yeah. I was dubbed Mr. Otter.
Why Otter?
Why? Great question.
Why not?
Yeah. Why? What's
Go ahead, Locke. What would you say?
I could think of a more appropriate sea animal.
Yeah. Or one that lives on a farm. A cock, possibly.
And I come back every day. Every day I come back voluntarily to be here. Yeah. Every day.
It's true. Paul Atkinson and our friend Douglas Connors are the hosts of the True Eager Beaver Podcast. It's literally one of the best podcasts around when it comes to popularization and explaining. Dude, you'd be Mr. Asshole, actually.
Jackass.
Jackass. Okay, I'll be the donkey.
Well, what animal is like super particular and you can't read them and gets angry when people ask them simple questions? What animal?
That would be an emu.
That? Yeah.
That would be an emu, Mr. Emu.
Have you guys ever had emu?
Yes, it's very tasty.
What would I be?
Really good bird.
I'm not getting into emu burgers right now. I still want to know what our animal names would be before we get started in this.
What would Dean
program.
be? Silver Fox,
Mr. Wolverine.
Too cool.
Would I be a Wolverine?
We could go. We could pull you up to that. Yeah, I think we could do that.
No,
Mr. Wolverine.
You're a bit of a goat.
Albino cock. I don't know.
Look at him, the old albino cock.
A Rhode Island red.
Anyway, good to see everybody. How are we doing? This is
better if I get this camera.
You go okay with your camera there, buddy?
No,
you can watch
actually.
Us, by the way, if you're just getting this right now, you can download us anywhere. You get your fine podcast, audio podcast, Apple, Google, Spotify, etc. You can also watch this. Hit subscribe on YouTube, Dean Blundell Show on YouTube, D Blundell TV or something like that. I don't know, D Blundell TV on Twitch,
something like that. Wherever the fuck it is.
And as
Twitch
always,
is a way bigger thing in the U.S. I think.
Can I get through the sponsors first?
Sorry, you've been really dragging.
No, I know. I'm really fucked. Yeah, it's only been 3.5 minutes, dude. Relax. Like we literally started 3.5 minutes ago. This is like a fucking Gowan song. Do you enjoy
on the morning show? I would have already played a Bryan Adams tune. Like, fuck, speed her up.
Anyway, brought to you by our friends at kivlaw.ca. If you're looking for legal help, if you're stuck, if you've done something dumb, if you done something dumb, or if you've been accused of doing something you didn't do, or you need some real serious legal help, kivlaw.ca. Email my friend Robert at kivlaw.ca. Of course, edsfineimports.com as well. His Gitch3 is your promo code. Go to edsfineimports.com to order today. And Easy Auto Financial. Easy Auto Financial, helping people get free financing for vehicles no matter their credit rating, which is really tough right now. Sorry, Locke, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Now we're 4:30 in.
No, sorry. No. Hey, I have a question about the law thing.
Mm-hmm.
Kiv Law. What if you did do it? Can you still go to him?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
He'd prefer it if you told him, probably, too. I asked him that the other day. I'm like, what do you do when you have guys who, are totally dead to rights? He goes, we just try and do the exact right thing to get them out of that trouble as fucking fast as humanly possible. I'm like, Yeah, but like, you know, when you walk in, you're like, hey, I can win this for you. Like you can't. And when you see a guy who you're like, yeah, there's no way I can win this for you. There's a picture of you with a knife in your hand, plunging it into this person's back, and he's like, oh yeah, those guys. I just say, hey, good, you're on your own.
Good luck. Yeah.
Well, they still have rights, right? So they still need their rights protected in the court of law. So you need a good lawyer to make sure you don't get like railroaded into becoming a dangerous offender for, you know, unpaid parking fines. So it's probably a good idea to have a lawyer with you.
It's always a good idea to have a lawyer. It's fucking hard to find a good lawyer too, because everybody's on the take. It's like a license to print money when you're a lawyer. It just is, right? And depending on the kind of lawyer you are, and we see a lot of fucking shitty ones, but Rob's a great guy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't trust nobody with myself or our business, and I would trust that guy 7 ways to Sunday. He's that good of an individual. Anyway, brought to you by Kivlaw.ca. How's that for an endorsement?
Kivlaw.
You guys like that? Kivlaw.ca.
One hell of a commercial.
Yeah. Anyway, lots to get to today. Paul's here because we're going to talk about this wacky bastard church that's going on in Ottawa, which makes me laugh. We're also going to talk a little bit about pegging. I don't know if you guys saw what was trending this morning about Prince William, the Prince of Pegging. Did you guys see some of that stuff this morning?
No, I did not.
I had to look it up. I
know what it is.
I didn't know what it was until this morning. Well, I would heard about it, but I didn't know it was
There's
called
a
pegging.
popular broadcaster in Edmonton. The rumor is that he enjoys that, and that's when I found out about it.
Lachlan Cross, is that his name?
No, it is not me. Not a bum guy, actually. But
Didn't know that about Grant.
Yeah. I have no idea that about Jimmy. Anyway, so we're going to talk about a little bit of pegging, which will be
it's
I guess
always
fun.
aggressive too. It's never like when you see a picture of what they would use for said activity.
Yeah.
It's never like a pen. It's always like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's always like you look like you could plant it in the ground and it might grow to a nice.
You use it to prop up a
someday.
car.
Well, you are the man with the big collection of dildos, so if anybody would know, it would be you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But you understand what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, it looks
Listen,
every
if you
dildo
want-
or every strap-on you see in every pegging video that I watched today, and I didn't watch any videos, but I was like Googling it today because Prince William's been accused of having an affair with someone who pegs him. So that's why Prince of Pegging.
I would love to see your Twitter
raise your
algorithm.
hand if you believe it.
Well,
Kinda. But then again, I mean, and we're gonna get to it because Russians, like the Russian disinformation machine is so fucking intense, and they'll go after anybody. I'm like, if Russia did that, that's a pretty good one. I was like, if
It's too
Russia came up
creative,
with
though.
the Prince of Pegging, and if they started this story about Prince William, because it's literally a story that came out like yesterday, how Prince William likes to be pegged and Kate won't do it, so he's been having an affair with someone who will, because she's not a fan of the Browntown. So
Can you imagine though having a conversation with a nice lady like my wife or Kate or somebody? Listen, honey, I want to try something tonight. Can you put this on?
It's just
I had a buddy
And
years ago.
I'm gonna get up on all fours.
Yeah.
And what I need you to do is we'll use a little bit of lube. I would like you to insert that bad boy into my anus.
Yeah.
And pound away.
That's how it works. Thanks for explaining it.
Yeah.
in great detail.
I had a
what were you
buddy
saying?
years
is it
ago. He
called-
said, when you
why is it
when you
called
hit your
pegging?
50s, you're going to want to start doing weird things like that. And I'm like, I turned 54 a few weeks ago. No.
Still no desire, huh?
No.
Not
no.
an interest, not a huge.
I get
huge
freaked out when I have to go to the doctor for the once a year. That freaks me out. It's just not my thing. It's
Really?
just not my thing.
You get freaked out by the colonoscopy?
I haven't. No, the prostate exam. I haven't had a colonoscopy
where the guy sticks
yet.
his fingers up your bum and goes.
Yeah.
Which I've never understood about like having a rectal exam. Like, and we've all had it. But I remember once I got my colonoscopy, and before I got a colonoscopy, the guy's like, "I got to check inside your hoop." And I'm like, "Yeah, go ahead, fella." And I'm like, he's rummaging around in there, and I'm like,
rummaging.
Got the whole fist in there, Doc?
What are you looking for?
He's rummaging around in there, and I'm like, and I literally, I'm like, what can you tell that's going on in there with your fingers? And he's like, can you not talk? I go, no,
Making it awkward.
because this is weird. You get your fingers in my asshole. and he's a buddy doctor of mine. I'm like, explain to me what you're fingering around in there for. What are you rummaging around in there for? He goes, yeah, you can feel polyps.
Rummaging.
Well, he says you can feel polyps. You can feel some swelling. And I'm like, seriously? That's like you're feeling for like what? And he's like, ridges. And I'm like, this is and so I said to him, listen, was this all predicated on a joke? Like the whole rectal exam with the 2 fingers? Is this like one of those doctor jokes that's been passed down for hundreds of years where you're like,
and they just keep rolling with it?
Just tell them that we can feel things. We really can't, but just tell them that we can feel things. In that
how far you think we can take this?
Yeah. Because I'm like, the only way that I think you could probably figure out what's going on down there is with a camera, right? And he's like, yeah, that's like next week. I'm just giving you the once over right now. And I'm like, well, I think it's a clever ruse. Have your I remember saying this to him as a buddy of mine. Yeah, it's clever ruse that you have your fingers in my asshole right now. That's what I think. I don't think you can tell anything.
If you were the doctor that was doing that on a fairly regular basis, would you be the glove snapping doctor?
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
I'd be the glove snapping doctor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And the lube would be I would have a bar fridge for the lube in the room. He's so cool.
With some sound effects. I might even put on some Sade or like some Marvin Gaye.
Mood lighting.
I'd fucking have fun with it.
Lava lamps.
Sade is way better than
that's what I do. When I get that feeling, I want sexual. Then I'd be like, this is how I talk to all my patients. Hey, you ready? Or
light some candles,
I'd also make them do something
Hello,
weird.
Mr.
Like,
Blundell.
you know how you get on your side when you do it? I'd be like, no,
ready?
you're going to need to get off that table.
Grab those ankles. Yeah, and it's such a
so do you start kissing
a nothing.
Or should we kiss first?
It's such a nothing procedure to like physically. It really is nothing. But the most uncomfortable part is like
having fingers in your
asshole. No, where do you put your you're standing there, you got the paper gown on, you get your pants in your hand, you're like, where do I put these pants? And the doctor says right there by mine. That's the uncomfortable part for me. Just throw them over on the floor next to mine and
what?
Right there next to
I says pardon.
No, seriously, I says pardon. I would do that. I like if I was a proctologist, I would have some fun with it. There's no, it's just be a way to ease everybody's minds. Like even in the middle of the exam, when some guys,
I'm sorry, as much as I do, I go like this.
I would be in the middle of the exam. I'd put the fingers in there, and I'd say stuff like this. Oh yeah,
or
a whole lot of mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna have to. Oh yeah. I'm gonna have to disagree with you there. I don't.
I would sniff a lot. I'd go like this. I'd go.
You can tell a lot by smells.
You don't find any of that funny, Locke? You just went on a diatribe about pegging a moment ago.
Yeah, you did.
I do find it funny. I'm just saying I don't think he would get a lot of return patients. Is all I'm saying.
Well, then job done because I wouldn't want to do that job anyway. I'd be like, what do we got today? My secretary would be nobody. You fucking pervert. I'm like, I'm gonna go.
the bowl of poppers isn't nice enough. The complimentary poppers in the front.
Hey, Dean Blundell, proctology, and I'd get the greatest bumper stickers too made.
Oh yeah,
I really would, and it would just be, yeah.
You'd have to get the license plate that says "Dick Ass Man."
Yes, man.
You got an oops in your hoops. Call Dr.
You got
Blundell.
an oopsie in your hoopsie. Call Blundellski.
Want to smell my fingers?
Do you guys remember Dick Ass Man?
Yeah, from the Letterman show, right?
Yeah. He ran a gas station in was it Regina or Saskatoon?
It might have been Saskatoon, actually.
Yeah.
I think
there's a urologist here in Hamilton. His name is actually Dr. Lovelace. I thought that was kind of like brilliant and it's his real name, Dr. Lovelace.
It's not as good as Dick Ashman. Like if the urologist version of Dick Ashman is like Dr. Pisshard.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Dr. Pisshard.
What's your Dr. name? Pissburn?
Dr. Pissburn.
Dr. Pissburn. Wasn't that a Frank Zappa song? Why does it hurt when I pee?
It was.
It was.
Yeah. Anyway, nice to see you guys. It was a good 15-minute opener about prostate exams and
Fisting
going.
and
I love how-
prostates.
I love how Dean's trying to use that as a tease, and then we're going to explain it later, but we just jump right in.
Yeah. Well,
It's hard to bring up pegging and not just go full bore.
Well, we were going to talk about it a
Mr.
little later
Board,
on in the
that's it.
show, but I thought we'd talk about it now because you're talking about it now, right? Like the pegging thing started this morning. It was so fucking weird because I got up like the first thing I saw this morning. And you know when you wake up and you look at Twitter and you're like, because today there's some things I don't want to talk about, right?
Yeah.
Jordan Peterson's one of them, and we made him trend yesterday because of that bullshit rant. We're going to get to it, which is why I put this picture up of him crying, different phases of addiction, tears. Oh, Jordan Peterson. He's just a fuck. He's just a greasy fuck. And as much as I don't want to talk about him, we're going to talk about him today. So that was trending this morning, and it's nice. And when you're preparing shows, you're like, I should probably talk about things that other people are talking about today. So, in talking about pegging, it wasn't that I'm like, hey, let's come right out of the gate with talking about sticking fingers in each other's asses. That wasn't my intention. It was just too good of a fucking topic because I saw it trending this morning, and it was like an educational process because I had heard of pegging. I knew what it was all about. And I'm like, who's this Prince of Pegging? Turns out it comes from this dude named like Duane Muir, I think his name is, or Dieu Muir. Moi, whatever. He's like a blogger. This it's like a man or a woman. It's largely unconfirmed. Very famous celebrity bloggers in England, and they have the royal affair gossip. And this was the rumor that's going around. And this is about Prince William and Kate. Apparently, this is so salacious. This person says, "I'm almost too shook to share it with you, but I will anyway. Obviously, because it's viral, right? Everybody will fucking watch this." This British royal's extramarital affair is an open secret in London and amongst the English aristocrat set, and is the talk of every party and news desk at recent media party. I was told of the very real reason for the affair was the royal's love of pegging. The wife doesn't mind her and, in fact, prefers her husband getting his sexual needs fulfilled elsewhere as long as things don't become emotional, which was the case with the last woman. So this set off like England, which is like fucking insane for gossip. They love their gossip over there. If you know anything about like the Daily Mirror and stuff like that, like that whole Rupert Murdoch bullshit. The England's on fire today, literally on fire with this like. And there's like pictures of like Prince William like crawling on the ground, and they've photoshopped out his kids crawling on the ground just on the kids, and like people standing behind him with strap-ons on it and stuff. And they're appearing all over the news. But it's got to be Russia. That's the only thing I can think of. This has got to be a Russian thing, or it's got to be a compromat thing, or just a way to fucking piss off the world and get people talking about other stuff, flooding the zone. Because I can't see Prince William into pegging, even though it's a totally legitimate enterprise. If someone wants to do a little pegging in their spare time, it's totally up to you. If you're into the ass play, great stuff. Good for you. I don't judge. But that's tough. That's a tough rumor to live down.
For a royal, yeah. And she's not into it, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, stop being such a princess and just put your fingers in there.
My bum. Put on these unicorn underwears.
So
Get your
biggest
face
trending
in there.
things in Canada right now are the Prince of Pegging and Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, those are the two biggest things.
You could tie the two together.
Who cares if he wants to do that in the bedroom? That's what I always sort of come back to. I understand it might be a little bit embarrassing, but does it make him, I don't know, like, does it make him any less fit to do his job?
What job?
Exactly.
What job?
Showing up in appearances,
playing polo. Yeah,
maybe riding horses.
More.
Riding horses might be a bit difficult the next day, but yeah. Other than that, he shows up at a signing.
Perform well in the polo match. I had a lovely evening with my girlfriend. If you know,
That prince is such a gentleman. He's always standing when he's here.
Yeah,
he never sits.
All right. Yeah, nobody cares. Nobody cares. And here's the fucking crazy part: is that information, whether or not the Prince of Pegging is true, and Prince William doesn't mind having a few fired up the backside. That's fine. I could care less. Good for him. There are a lot of guys that don't mind a pinky, don't mind a tongue, don't mind a little tickle around the edges, don't mind that kind of stuff. Not for me. I've been wedged once in high school. I'm like, no, I know the panic. I know the panic down there.
Never into the bum stuff ever.
No, me neither.
Every time we talk about this on the locker room, though, the phones go crazy. We have, I don't know why, we have a lot of nurses that listen to us, And we had about, I think the last time we talked about this, we had like 4 or 5 in a row nurses like, I'm a nurse, I'm a nurse, I'm a nurse. And one of the texts was really funny. She was like, I've been a nurse for 20 plus years. Let me tell you, people will hammer anything up there. And then it was like, and I mean anything. They were talking about one nurse was talking about how sometimes when they're in the waiting room, you can still hear, like, if they're using a vibrator and they lose it,
still zooming,
and it's stuck in there, and then they got to go get it out. You can still hear it vibrating.
And
you'd think if that was a regular practice, you'd sort of set something up or give yourself, I don't know, like a safety string on your wrist or something, like. Just
nobody ever comes in. Nobody ever comes in and says, "Hey, I shoved this voluntarily in my ass." It's always an accident. This was you 1,000 to 1, like that whole.
That's what it was. That's what the last conversation we had about ass play was, because that guy in the UK, he was a collector of old artillery and like old weapons and stuff like that.
That's right, the shell.
And he was firing like a anti-tank missile thing up his ass, and it got stuck. Man. And that's true. This is a true fucking story. And it got jammed up there, and he was like, I fell on it. I fell on it.
Yeah.
Like, how do you get yourself to the doctor if that's up
well,
there?
you call the ambulance.
You're not driving.
Right? Yeah. You call the
ambulance. Fell on it. It was well lubricated beforehand, though. Just
yeah.
Magically, even though it was an accident, it was like
I just polished it.
Its own. Yeah. There's a list that happens every year. Defector puts out things that got caught in people every year.
Yeah.
They do everything from vaginas to ears to noses. The rectum's always my favorite. Bouncy ball. This is a Canadian list, by the way. These are things that are found inside people in Canada.
Canadian.
Yeah. Toothbrush holder, multiple marbles, crayon. Quote, put a pencil up my rectum. Now I'm not able to sit. That's a good one. Nail polish bottle, shaving gel bottle, aerosol container is a good one. Shampoo bottle. The reason for the shampoo bottle. Some of these give excuses too. Shampoo bottle in his rectum that he placed there because he thought he was constipated. Why you put more things in there then, bud?
Thought he would loosen it up. I've had a couple of constipation moments where I thought a finger or two might help the situation out.
Just try and reshuffle some things in there.
You ever heard of X-Lax, my friend?
Just you just want to get started though, right? Like you just want to just.
Dude, I'm just getting warmed up with that list, by the way.
All right.
Aerosol container, shaving gel bottle, small foam football. That's a good one.
A Nerf?
Stick. That one just says stick. Screwdriver and anus. Handle fell off. This is a good one. Was intoxicated and is uncertain if she used her anal beads or not. Can't find them. However, her abdomen hurts.
You're not supposed to swallow them, dear.
No. Pipe, vibrator ring, vibrator stuck in rectum, vibrator still on, to your point. And then we imagine walking around like that. 5-inch
somebody's
dildo,
phone going off?
6-inch dildo, 7-inch dildo, and very adventurous 10-inch dildo was found in it. And then you get into just the everyday stuff. Apple, toy shark, plastic turtle, cat toy bell, baseball newspaper, cologne bottle, baby oil bottle, hand lotion bottle. Quote, was squatting in the shower when he got a small bottle stuck in his rectum. Okay, bud. Okay,
absolutely.
That sounds plausible.
Remote control, fork, water bottle. Quote, 3 weeks ago he was drunk and put a light bulb in there.
3 weeks.
Yeah, Weeble Wobble toy, writing pen and bottle cap, foam dart, 6 magic markers.
6. That's the whole pack.
and my favorite, Christmas lights. Yeah, there you go, bud. Merry Christmas.
Tis the
See,
season.
at least the Christmas light thing, there's, you got something to grab onto.
Yeah.
Right?
Not if you keep going.
Yeah. Isn't that, and I think it's the age old, and again, none of these very astute white men are on this panel in this show. Paul, Locke, Dean, Ryan, none of us are judging you. If you love,
not at all.
If you love jamming six, have a great time. Doesn't matter to us. Don't care what you do. Prince William, Prince of Pegging, peg away. Congratulations.
Yeah, we're just going to giggle about it.
But here's the thing. This is the only advice I would give anybody who's into any of that stuff. Weeble wobbles, Indian rubber balls, doesn't matter to me. Whatever you're putting in your asshole, make
Russian
sure
dolls.
it has a base or some type of retrieval.
Grab
on. That's it. It's
6 markers.
It's 6 magic markers.
Maybe they were going after the one and then just kept losing them.
You know how you can put like 6
you put them together?
Yeah.
Maybe if I just get it in the right shit.
It's like Benoit
trying to
ball
pull
with
it.
highlighters.
Honey, grab me the violet one. All right.
He had them scotch taped together. Is what was going on.
Anyway, just
I just wonder, like,
relax.
why all
Take
the
some muscle
why
relax and
why
see what
the
you're doing.
massive creativity? Like, wouldn't you just, if I was into this, and I don't know why I feel like I need to keep repeating that I'm not, but I'd be going to the CRISPR more often than not, right? Isn't there a large number of fruits and vegetables that would be way more appropriate for this? Maybe that's why they're not in the hospital. They're not on the list because it's easier to remove a carrot.
Those are the more responsible peggers.
It's easier to remove a carrot. Carrots are biodegradable. That's the other like little kind of handrail for people that want to get into ass play. I think is that make sure whatever you put in your asshole has a base. That's just number one. Number two, if it doesn't, go with biodegradable. Go with a natural product. Go with something compostable because you're like a human compost machine. What do you think your asshole kicks out every time you eat about an hour after you eat if you're healthy? Compost. That's what we are. We're like the perfect compost machine. So if you're going to be putting things in there, make sure you're putting things in there with a base. Number one, if you can't find a way to, put a string on the end of like a big grandfather
lanyard
clock that you're trying to
we
stick
got
in there.
cruise lanyards. Come grab them.
Get a
radio station lanyard. They give them away.
That's a fucking great idea for the shop, to be honest with you. We should sell things
Safety
that help
lanyards. Safety lanyards
for ass play.
Yeah, when you can't have a spotter.
Safety lanyards for ass play.
It's
Just
not
hook
a bad
this
idea.
to the back end, and you know what? And you can use them. Like you might start with a carrot, you might work your way up to a zucchini, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
And
we'll give you
baby carrot. Start with a baby
prizes as you progress.
Yeah. I don't see the big deal. I really don't. Speaking of which, let me just share with you
Ladies and gentlemen,
a little...
I'm at spaghetti squash.
Oh, he's an expert. You get like a little gold star by your name.
Can you guys see this? See this on the screen?
Yeah.
All right. How do you like that? That looks nice, doesn't it?
I love it.
Yeah, it's a new feature that we've had for like 6 months. I've never bothered to learn how to use until today, by the way. So everybody can see the screen if you're looking at this on YouTube. That's just a true story. This is our store. I'm wearing a Go Fuck Yourself shirt, just so everybody knows, GFY. You can get it at the Dean Blundell store. This is where we would put the retrieval lanyards, by the way, for people's backsides. Yeah.
Safety lanyard.
Pegging retrieval lanyards.
Pegging retrieval lanyards. Yeah, the Prince William, we'll call it.
PRLs.
Well, you know what a Prince Albert is, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
we'll call it a Prince William.
Prince William. Yeah.
What is the
call ours a
Prince
Prince
Albert?
William.
It's where you pierce the tip of your wiener and that you run a chain from the tip of your wiener to another piercing in your gooch. Is that correct?
Well, no, you can do that, or you can tie it to your leg. It was called the Prince Albert because Prince Albert of Monaco at the time had a very large member, and he wanted to look a certain way in the trousers that he was wearing. So as a result, he had the piercing done and then would strap it to his leg like a garter, so it would stay in place while he was walking with these pants.
How big of a dick did Prince Albert have that he had to have it pierced to strap it in place because it was so unwanted?
Well, it was quite legendary because John Dillinger used to call his member Prince Albert for that specific reason.
Wow.
You know a lot about this, Paul.
Yeah.
I read entirely too much.
There's
a lot about Prince Albert.
If you have a Prince Albert, you can tie the lanyard to it.
Yeah, exactly. But I do want to ask you guys a question. We're going to have the Prince Albert lanyards here, the Prince William lanyards, the anus retrieval lanyards here for sure. We're going to do one of those. Well, why not?
We'll get like a floaty on it like you have for your boat keys.
But can I ask you guys a question? Because, Locke, you're in charge of the shop, Dean Blundell store.
Yeah.
And we've been putting up a significant amount of merch. We took a little bit of break over the past couple of months.
You,
we raised.
Doug.
Fuck you, Doug. I forgot what you were doing that one. Fuck you, Doug.
So did I.
But
that's just a great shirt.
Fuck you, Doug. But just to recap the shop here, we've got a significant amount of items. We got the Wall Hoppin' hoodies and shirts. We got the Schadenfreude season shirts. We got stickers. The Good For You / Go Fuck Yourself line, which I absolutely love. I'm wearing right now on my person. Different shapes and sizes, wine and taco shirts. The shop is well attended. We want you to go and buy stuff. Obviously, that's why we have it. And it's content for us, but we've noticed a dip in sales over the past month or month and a half.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you guys if it might have something to do. We have the word "fuck" in at least half of our clothing.
There's a possibility.
Like fuck Pootler, fuck politics, go fuck yourself, fuck you, Doug. I mean, those are just 4 of the 7 lines we have that have the word "fuck."
It's aggressive.
Slava Ukraine fuckers. Like, was that too much?
Yes. So, Locke, and I know that you run the shop, and I was tweeting back and forth. We were all sharing these emails back and forth, and Locke's like, "We got to do something about the flag. Want to get the flag back." We all hate politics equally, and we all consider politicians to be super full of shit in general, and everybody's tired of the environment. So you can go and get your fuck politics shirt. I'm not saying don't do the fuck politics shirt. You should go buy it. It's $25 to $28 depending on how big you are. You can get a flag and a sticker too if you want to fly that flag. Fuck politics. I love the flag. I think more people should buy it and strap it to their
I love that it's a total ripoff of the Trudeau flag, right? I mean, that's what I really like about it, because it would take a minute for people to realize what it is. If they did see it, it might not be instantaneous.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think it's brilliant.
Yeah.
It was Lynn's idea, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, so let me ask you guys a question.
Mm-hmm.
Should we maybe not I love it, but while we were emailing each other back and forth about what we should do on this shirt, I weighed in, and my opinion doesn't matter, but I weighed in and I'm like, we got the word "fuck" in almost all of our clothes. And did nobody respond to it, not only did no one acknowledge that might have been one of my concerns, is hey, should we be putting literal the word "fuck" on every one of our shirts?
Don't have to buy it though.
Well,
that's the thing.
And then literally less than half a day later, Lynn's puts out this fucking tweet. He's like, "Get a load of our new fuck politics shirt." I'm like, I guess no one listened to me, so whatever.
Why don't we make another? Hang on. Why don't we make another portion of our shop that is the we'll call it the Randy section. Just to make fun of Randy Kenny, right? We'll just call it the Randy, and then we'll put the stuff without the swearing on the front. And then you go through another link, and that's where you find all the fuck stuff.
I think the type of people that listen to this podcast think our demographic, generally speaking, they might not be able to wear a fuck politics shirt to the family picnic, but they're not offended by the word, right? Mm-hmm. I think this isn't a I'm going out on the town shirt. It's more of an entertaining piece.
This is something you wear at a barbecue.
I get your
funny stuff.
I get your point, Dean, but I think our audience is mature enough to accept the fact that if they go to the Dean Blundell store, there's a good chance they might see something a bit offside. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, no, listen, I don't have a problem with the shirt. I just have a problem with the fact that all of our shirts say it.
Well, let's try to come up with some ideas that don't include the F word.
All right. But I still love it, because this appeals to everybody that's sick and tired of all the bullshit on both sides, right? Everybody who just can't stand it, hates politics, hates the liberals, hates the conservatives, hates the this, hates the that. Yeah. This just speaks to and I say it all the time, but go fuck yourself. We're not interested. Yeah, I know. I'm going to buy one too. It's not that I don't like the shirt. I love the shirt. It's just that there's a deluge of shirts that just say fuck right in the middle of it. It's like big chest plate. This isn't even hiding it. You
know what? It's we're a microcosm of where everybody is at right now too, though. We're kind of mad at Pootler. We're kind of mad at politics as a whole. And I think our frustration with the world around us and the daily news cycle, it's coming out. we're expressing our dissatisfaction with the world we live in through the merch page here on the Dean Blundell Podcast Network. And you know what? Maybe when things calm down a bit, if they ever do, we'll have a shirt with a puppy on it. I don't know.
I love dogs.
A beaver and a bear and an otter.
Yeah.
And a donkey.
There you go.
Pegging.
Do you hey Paul, do you have do we have him up on the page? Do you guys have a logo?
Yeah, we have some merch.
Yeah. We're I'm in the process of putting together I've had a few people request coffee mugs, so I'm building in the process of designing one, and it's going to have the logo, the True North Eager Beaver logo on one side, a big giant blue jacket on the other side. It's going to say in giant block letters, "The mandates are provincial."
Well, you want to get your merch up on the Blundell Podcast Network
absolutely.
shop. Just send me a note and we'll get you set up. If you go back to that page, Dean, we'll show you. We have like Black Bald, we have Lynn's podcast, Sheeple Shepherd. We have them up
Fire
there.
for Effect, yeah.
Fire for Effect. So there, if you go to all podcasts at the top, not the bottom, the top.
Oh yeah, okay.
There you go.
Cool.
There's on the side.
Yeah, I
Look
see
at
it
all
on
the
the left
fuss.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First 6 items, 5 have fuck in it. Yeah.
Nerd Dad's up there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nerd Dad's there. Everybody's there. World's okayest mom. World's okayest dad. There's some dad joke stuff there. Yeah, there's lots of stuff. So we'll get the True North Eager Beaver stuff. Look at the Fire for Effect. We got Blackballed on there. You can buy yourself a shirt. I love these still. Still on the Fire for Effect.
I like that. The Sheeple Shepherd mug is awesome.
Yeah, it really
it's
is.
my favorite. I love it.
Yeah, it's a great mug too. They're good quality stuff.
They are
The
good
shirt's
mugs.
Really nice. Yeah. Anyway,
This is
that's
the
how we
mug
sell
right here.
This is how we sell.
Yeah.
That is a nice mug. Yeah, same mug.
Same mug.
Cool.
Anyway, sorry to hijack. That's 36 minutes of ass play, fuck, pegging,
And whoring our merch page.
Whoring
Well,
merch.
I
Love it.
don't want to. No, it's not whoring. You know what? I had this thought today when we were talking about the merch. You know what it is? We don't charge people for this podcast. Like a lot of people do charge like stuff and make them sit through like ads, and even though they charge them like we ask for, if you throw us a couple of bucks in our coffee account, but just buy some shirts. That's all we're asking you to do. Buy some mugs every once in a while.
You need a mug.
Every couple of months, get yourself a funny shirt or a flag.
Yeah. Or if you really if you're feeling real good and real plucky, you could support us monthly by going to deanblundell.com. Right at the front of the page, there's a way that you can donate to keep us going so that we can pay for real information to get out there for people. So we can hire other people to come here and beat down the idiots because it's hard to do it all on my own. Like yesterday, I was, and I know Lachlan doesn't like internet fighting. He was telling us that yesterday. He's like, why are you guys always fighting on Twitter?
You guys do you. I'm just saying, to me, it's not about me judging you guys for doing it. I understand that you get off on it. Mm-hmm. It's not that. For me, I just feel like it's a complete fucking waste of time. That's where my head's at with it. Right. I cannot wrap my head around, because I've done it. I've gotten sucked into a couple of arguments, right? And like I said, 4 hours later, 6 beer in, and I'm like, I could have mowed the lawn, right?
Yeah.
Instead, could have gone to that doctor's appointment.
Photo radar, right? Like, why? Like,
well, I'll tell you why, and it's funny. I think there's a higher level of argumenting and for frustration and all the other shit that goes on, but I've separated. It was like the fucking clouds opened up and I had an epiphany yesterday, and it was because of Jordan Peterson. As you all know, he's our worst Canadian export. He's got to be a fucking Russian asset. We'll get to that kind of stuff in a minute. But he released this fucking video yesterday. It was like literally 6 minutes of how much he hated Canada, how much he hated Trudeau, why he thinks that Canada sucks and why the country's all racist. And he took real umbrage with the fact that Trudeau wants to raise the level of consciousness in this country, which when he said it, I was like, It doesn't sound like it's a terrible thing, but for some reason, this guy fucking hates everything Justin Trudeau does, and we're going to get to it in a second. But I want you to watch how this works, right? Not only is this guy a piece of shit, and not only is he like trending like on a weekly basis, but I got him dead to rights. He is such a piece of shit. It's unbelievable. And we're going to explain this in just a second, but I want to play you this video because it's one of the greats. And it really is, it encapsulates how incredibly stupid this guy is. It encapsulates how angry he is. And the other thing that it does is it gives you kind of a look into how pea-brained he's become, like how his mind is melted, Paulie. And I want your input after this because
better explanation. I think something's going on. He's cooked himself.
Degrading.
Yeah. Well, he's degrading, and we're going to get to that in just a second. But this content that he puts out is part of a network, and I'm going to explain that in just a second. But watch a little bit of this. I won't subject you to all 6 minutes because you'll want to fucking take a knitting needle and stick it in your ears. So here, watch this.
How have Canadians failed to realize that our government holds them and our racist country utterly in contempt? That Mr. Trudeau believes that his God-given mission is to elevate the consciousness of his citizens instead of serving their interests economically and practically. That the Trudeau Liberals are perfectly willing to make us all poor, miserable, and demoralized just to utterly fail in his efforts to save the planet. That the agents of that party and government are, as previously noted, perfectly willing and eager to trumpet that aim, which can be easily attained through the wretched combination of incompetence and moral Machiavellianism that characterizes the Trudeauites as a moral accomplishment. That we could be the freest, richest, cleanest country in the world, but that we are trying hard to be none of those three. That we are dividing ourselves among racial lines that are more germane to the U.S. just to ape the very progressive radicals whose idiot policies on the American front are dooming the Democrats to what appears to be the worst electoral defeat they have experienced in at least 50 years. That all the data on the environmental front indicates that the fastest way to improve the ecosystems on which we all depend is to make people richer, not poorer.
Okay, I'll stop it there because he's a fucking moron, and it just is more of the same. It actually becomes more incomprehensible as he goes on. Yeah. But he set the stage there, Paulie, for like another hit piece on Canada, another hit piece about this country, another shit talking about this beautiful place that we all live in, the freest country on the fucking planet, full of people who are not being sent to the gulag, full of people who are not being kettled by secret police, full of people who actually appreciate and love this country. And he does it and puts it at the feet of Justin Trudeau. But what is it about this guy that does, like, what is, in your opinion, you sit and listen to him and you watch him and you've seen him denigrate over the past, like, I don't know, like 2-3 years, obviously, since he went to Russia for the meat diet benzo thing, like whatever the fuck he was doing, which we'll get into as well.
Palooza.
How do you,
he was he was taking a drug to help his sleep.
Xanax,
and then he got
benzos. Yeah.
He got hooked on them.
Yeah.
And then
benzodiazepine, I think it was.
Yeah. And apparently, I don't know much about it, but apparently it's wickedly hard to get off of. Mm-hmm. So he went and looked up some radical method of getting off of the drug, from what I've read. Yeah. And it was literally, he went someplace and just basically
in Moscow.
Russia.
Yeah. Russia, and locked himself for 3 months or something like that, and ate nothing but meat 4 months.
Well, no, he was in a coma for 2 months, apparently. And this is all according to his daughter, Mikhailia, by the way, whose name is literally spelled like Mikhail Gorbachev's name. Just a little fucking quick fun fact. Yeah, no big deal. Goes with his massive Soviet art collection and all the other shit, which we'll get to in just a second. But anyway, what do you make of this? Is he, because he uses a lot of big words, which is not good for his audience, right? Because most of the people like fucking are dumber than the next. They're all a bunch of dumb redneck young men. But like, what do you make of why he's doing this? Because he's not doing this. Nothing he says in this 6 minutes, Paulie, nothing he says in those 6 minutes is legible, comprehensible. It's literally him just venting. But why? Why is he doing it?
Well, I have two theories. One theory is he may be getting paid by Plymouth Brethren because he's given them a lot of their talking points. I'm just throwing that out there. That's my own personal theory. The other thing is I think he's lost it. I mean, lost it. There's no question that at one point in time he was a revered, intelligent individual, but in the last 3 or 4 years, he's gone right off the deep end and turned into a raging asshole. And the stuff he's spewing is like, we are one of the freest nations on earth by a large margin. And I think the U.S. is like number, 14 or 15, and we're in the top 3 or something like that. So where he's getting this, I have no idea. So it seems to me they're like ultra right-wing evangelical Christo-fascist talking points. And like you say, he's confusing his audience because most of them don't know who Machiavelli was, let alone the term Machiavellian. So I think he's just lost his mind. I think he personally, as someone who does therapy and takes medication for anxiety and depression, I think he has a mental health issue that he has not dealt with. And of course, locking himself in a was he in an asylum? I don't know where he was when he was in Moscow.
Well, his daughter said that he was in a hospital.
Some sort of a treatment
he was literally placed, and nobody in North America would treat his benzo addiction because he was that far gone. And so she says, which I don't believe a fucking word, if your last name is Peterson and you're related to that guy, I just think you're a fucking natural liar. His daughter is married to, by the way, a former Russian agent. True story.
Oh my God.
100% true.
It just gets better by the minute.
Yeah, it's incredible. And she said that he went to Russia for like 4 months, 3-4 months, and was under the supervision of the Russian health committee or Russian officials while he was getting off of this stuff. So he was literally in Moscow for 3-4 months. She says 2 in a coma. When he came out of it, he had to learn to eat and read and write and all the other bullshit, which I don't believe, because if that was the case, he'd still be in fucking rehab. But that's the take, right? And which is, when you think about how often he tries to sewer this country, and you think about his talking points and how well they match up with guys like Joe Rogan, whose information then gets taken and put through the fucking amplification process with all the different outlets, right wing, left wing, right wing specifically, alt-right outlets. The Russia stuff plays here. For me, it plays.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And
it wouldn't surprise me in the least bit if he was an asset of either, like I said, the Plymouth Brethrens or the Russians, one or the other, because he's saying all these bizarre things.
Well, that's my point. This is, and I'm going to take it down a weird road here, but when you get that, when your body is affected by trauma like that, where people that have come out of like major drug overdoses, barely survived. You've literally shocked your entire body, and your every facet of you, every operational system is vulnerable at that point, including your psyche, and you can trigger things that may have been there, like predisposition genetically, where it could be like a schizoaffective disorder, it could be dementia, it could be paranoia, and he comes across as a very paranoid man. As though while he was in a vulnerable state in a place like Russia, ends up getting fed some sort of, like you say, you saw him before. You may not have agreed with him, but he always had salient points. He always had very salient, hard to argue, but it could just be an opinion. And now it's gone from at least a structured argument to absolute nonsense and paranoid drivel,
emotion,
and
anger,
emotion. And he never used to come from a spot of emotion. He had opposite views of a lot of liberal or left leaning people, but he was never fucking nuts like he is now.
Yeah.
So I think it has I think a lot of it. I think it was something. I think he was co-opted. I think he was actually probably taken advantage of in that vulnerable state.
Mhm.
And here we are. Now we're watching it. Now we're watching it unfold. So
yeah,
that's just a theory.
I think Linz, you might be onto something with that's the frustrating thing for me is when I first started, when he got on my radar, again, I didn't always agree with him, but I respected his approach to how he got to a point.
Right.
He had a very interesting way of like connecting the dots, and it wasn't always a linear approach. It was a very well thought out, but sometimes he came around it differently than a lot of people would. And then it made the argument more intriguing to me, and it got me thinking. And so when I first started, like if his name popped up, I never got to the point where I was like searching out the 12 rules for life or anything like that and reading it. But I mean, if I saw, I've been listening to podcasts for quite a few years and been a huge podcast fan and listened to a lot of different types of podcasts. When his name showed up, I was always intrigued. And I would listen. So he has slipped. And then the only other thing that I think I would add to that, the points you guys have already made, is that whether he was co-opted by the Russian government or whether this church has gotten into his head or anything, I've had an interesting sort of connection in my life to long-term, the people that use drugs long-term, and pot specifically. I've known people, I grew up with people that started smoking weed early, and I've known them for a long, long time. And
They're awesome.
Listen, I'm talking about the more chronic individuals. I'm seeing evidence of the type that gets up in the morning and rolls
Wake and
5,
bake.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10 joints and make sure that they're taken care of for the whole day. And that's a daily practice. Listen, I drink every day. I am not judging you for whatever you choose to do to get through, to cope. Many people self-medicate. I have found, and I've got numerous examples of this. I'm 52. I have seen people's minds change from the long-term use of drugs.
Right.
And it impacts them, right? And I'm not talking about the guy that goes into the garage when the kids go to bed to have a little puff to help them get to sleep. I'm talking about the people that smoked all day, like all day. And I know more than a couple of them. Somehow radio attracts a lot of these types of individuals.
Alcoholics and drug addicts. Is that what you're saying?
Alcoholics and guys that like the pot, right? And listen, it changes I think it changes your wiring over time.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's happening here. I think Jordan Peterson, fucking wildly intelligent individual, did drugs, a hard drug, for a long time, and it fucking changed him.
Yeah.
Because it's the only explanation for it. And I think now he is, and what Lynn said, you made an interesting point. It brought up to the surface some of the things that maybe he was suppressing over the years, like his insecurity, his need for like, because that's what I find interesting about him now, is he looks so thirsty all the time. And I think he gets a bit of a rush from this attention that he gets back. Bingo. And now he is super serving that audience because he has an idea of who they are. And then he goes after them and knows what it is. He's giving them the red meat. Because he's smart enough to, so
we call it the bias confirmation echo chamber. He keeps hearing the same thing over and over from his dude bro friends, and then he starts to believe his own hype.
Well, part of it is money too, right? Like,
the money.
Well, and I don't know if you know how 12 Rules came to be. Do you guys know how his fucking international best-selling self-help book 12 Rules came to be? Do you guys know this?
Yeah, it was a sequel to the first one that didn't work.
Yes, it had. Yes, it did.
Yeah.
I was texting back and forth with Donald Peterson yesterday, the guy who came on to talk about Stoicism, his new book, Verissimus, by the way, which is incredible. He's a CBT psychotherapist, world renowned.
I love his take on this, by the way.
Oh, dude, it was incredible. So he and I are texting back and forth, and his take is fantastic, and he's going to come on the show in the next couple of weeks to talk about it. But I brought him into the Peterson argument, and he got pounded by people online over that the last time he was on, where he basically offered up the fact, he's like, Jordan Peterson's garbage. Like, nobody believes any of this shit anyway. He's literally has never produced anything scientific, never done a peer-reviewed study, no clinical papers whatsoever, not one, but he still calls himself a psychologist, and he calls his self-help book a self-help book, which it wasn't. Right. The self-help book, 12 Rules, legitimately came from his publisher saying, your first book sucked. Why don't you do a second book? And he actually talks about it. And Donald sent this to me last night. His publisher quotes, this is Jordan Peterson on his book, suggested I write a guide of sorts that what a person needs to live well, so a self-help book, whatever that might mean. I thought immediately about my Quora list. Apparently he kept a list of like Quora answers and questions that people loved. So he took the top 12 important Quora postings that he put together, and he literally wrote around a book. And he said, I had in the meantime written some further thoughts about the rules that I had posted. People had responded positively to those new ideas as well. It seemed to me, therefore, there might be a nice fit between Quora list and my new agent's ideas. So I sent her the list. She liked it. And there you go. That is a best-selling author now of a self-help book that is so fucking weird. It's about petting cats. It's about cleaning your room. It has absolutely nothing to do with psychology. It's got nothing to do with psychiatry. It's literally him griffing from his Quora posts and turning it into a book. And the cognitively delayed and people that identified with his religion, which is Orthodox, Eastern Orthodox Christianity, otherwise known as Russian Orthodox Christianity, were like, that's our guy. He's making some sense. He's on our team. And he wasn't ready for this. Jordan Peterson was not ready for the fame and the money because the dude was basically, up until 12 Rules, basically a fucking grifter. And how do I know that? Well, do you remember the Jordan and Michaela Peterson Our Carnivore Diet book that he put out, where he put himself on the cover in a fucking sweet towel, shaved chest, looking like $1 million? How to cure depression and disease with meat only. Do you remember this?
That's not a thing. It doesn't work.
This is, oh my God, dude. This guy has been on the fucking take on the sly for I don't know how long. He was begging for, like, back in 2015, 2016, begged for money to keep his fucking grift alive. Guess who came in with 70 grand? Ezra Levant from Rebel News.
Of course.
This guy has been on the fucking take for a long period of time. He's what Putin and the FSB would call a useful idiot. So enter a fucking benzo addiction after reaching fame, writing a book about Quora and calling it a self-help book, and literally being outed as a wacky bastard, right? He's a wacky bastard who's curating this fucking like sage industry where people come to him for advice, and he literally has none. Never written anything. So enter his addiction, okay? This is just his addiction. He gets hooked on benzos, gets bad news about his wife's health. I don't know. I don't care, really, to be honest with you. He goes to Russia. He's there for 4 months. 4 months. Are you telling me?
Has a taste of money already at this point, by the way.
Loves money. He's in trouble at work. Has been kettled by people in his own country because everybody knows he's full of shit and he's an angry theocrat and he doesn't give a fuck about human beings. He only cares about money. He only cares about his brand. He only cares literally about selling diet meat books with his daughter on the front. Pimping his daughter in a bikini was a nice look too. That's not creepy at all.
Not at all.
That's who these people follow. Dude, this is who we're talking about. So he goes to Russia. Are you telling me that you don't think he was radicalized over those 4 months by a guy who wanted to get his hands on Trudeau and a government that fucking hates this country, like literally hates this country after what we've seen? Come on, dude.
Yeah. That's
what this is.
The one thing I've said this before, and I think I'd like to say it again. The unintended, the thing we're not looking, like if we look behind the curtain here, and this is something that I'm concerned about, is when somebody like this achieves the success he does and has such a significant audience, It's one thing to present these facts and to say, hey, listen, this guy's a grifter. He might not necessarily be the savior you need. It's another thing completely. You can't ignore the fact that there's so many people out there, especially young men between the ages of like 15 to like 30, that are desperately looking for something to cling to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
There's so many people out there searching, and that's why this guy gets
Farms
put
range.
Fills
Dude,
a
He
void.
farms, dude. He fills that gap for these guys. This is. I had that
But
conversation
that's
with Donald last
why
night.
are we there?
We're there
Why are
because
we
he's
there?
telling people. Part of it is
No.
he's telling people to be angry. And here's how the whole let's connect that
I
part
get
of it. Let's connect that part of it. You know who Canada Proud is, Paul? You know who Canada Proud is?
Oh yeah.
Who owns
I
all the
don't know.
Canada Proud?
It's the Ballingall, isn't it? Isn't it
Jeff
Ballingall?
Ballingall?
Jeff Ballingall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeff
I don't know
Ballingall.
what you're talking
we're
about.
Canada Proud. The same people that put out this video, Canada Proud.
Yeah, I was going to say it's the little logo under the
Yeah,
video.
little. Have you seen this making its way around? Right, Canada
Mhm.
Proud. Yeah, Jeff Ballingall
I've seen
is
that
the
logo.
owner, operator, founder of Canada Proud. All the like Canada Proud, Ontario Proud, Saskatchewan Proud, all the Proud.
They were the ones that
brands.
pushed the empty shelves shit during the convoy.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So-
All right.
so
so it's
if
a
I'm not-
political group or a publication.
It's a publication that. How would you describe these guys, Paulie?
Well, they're definitely politically right-leaning. Ballingall was he was campaigning on behalf and for. I think he was the campaign director. Correct me if I'm wrong. For Aaron O'Toole,
Yeah. Guess who he works for now?
Doug Ford.
Pierre Poilievre.
Oh, okay,
Yep.
Skippy. Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah.
Yeah, he works with Pierre Poilievre. So Pierre Poilievre in his debate, you remember that a couple of months ago? By the way, he's not going to debate anymore. He's like, they're like, hey, what's your favorite book? What are you reading?
12
Remember
rules.
when Pierre Poilievre's like
Yeah.
12 Rules by Jordan Peterson,
Yeah.
which is literally just a choralist. That's all
Well,
it
he
is
was
for idiots.
smiling like an asshole when he said
yeah,
it too.
12
because he knew
rules,
he'd get
you
the
know.
seals clapping by saying it, and that's why. You know,
So you remember that episode of Family Guy when Brian the dog wrote a bestseller?
Yeah.
And it was something like, I'm good enough and I'm smart enough and I care about me. I'm like,
And it was
this
blank.
is art imitating life, right?
yeah, it was blank on the inside. You were supposed to write your own portions, and people will buy like I don't know. Go. Sorry, I
Well,
didn't.
let me-
I want
let
to
me
hear.
get
I want to
through
hear
this.
your connection. Yeah, do
Yeah,
that.
let me get through this because it's about the network at this point, right? Jordan isn't, he's a cultural icon to idiots, but he's been put there. He didn't do it himself. All the growth on his YouTube channel, the increase in sales, the awareness of his bullshit, him appearing on alt-right outlet, platforms, him being on Rogan, all that stuff. All that stuff started to ramp up when, and I'll tell you when, the month after he got back from Russia. He gets back. He sees this enormous uptick in viewership. Most of the viewership and the subscriptions that he got were not from this country. Now, in fact, almost all of them were overseas. They were in Russia. They were in blocked countries that support white nationalism and theocratic stuff, like in Hungary. He's huge in those
Mostly
countries, like
not
fucking
human followers too. That's the best part.
Yeah, no,
Lot
I'm
of
going to show
bots.
you some of that.
Yeah.
But like it is what it is. What you're seeing is the support and this movement come around certain individuals like Rogan, like Peterson, and they do it through these networks like Canada Proud or the Proud Networks. Who's attached to the Canada Proud Networks? Who's attached to this information? Every single fucking bot on the planet. To that point, let me show you a couple of things because I did a little digging just in our own stuff. I get this tweet yesterday. Dean, this guy, it was attached to the thread of the Jordan Peterson stuff. Didn't you rape kids or something? I heard something about that. And I'm like, I'm going to look into who this fucking guy is. So I looked into who this guy is. His name's Happy. And this account was created, if I'm not mistaken, June 27th, 2014. It lay dormant until June the 12th of this year. Then I looked into how many followers this guy has. Great. Not many. He's got the one. And it is about as standard gets. Then I looked at another shit poster. This guy, Samuel, 16 followers. When did he join? March 2022. So when you
And
look
this is
at
all attached to you,
all
shit
dude, and I've been
talking
in it
Jordan
totally
Peterson.
in it,
Yep.
everybody, and it is all the same stuff. You're a groomer, you're a pedophile. You raped kids. Now everybody who disagrees with you, this is their new one. Everybody who disagrees with you is a Russian bot. Like, it's fucking, it is so standard now that I expect it. Anytime we touch a nerve with the truth and we kind of connect a few dots for people and we give them receipts, like the Jordan Peterson Russia stuff, like news stories which have him in Russia, which are like from Vice, CBC, the Post, even Post Media reported on it, like legitimate outlets that he was, and I'm like, dude, I'm not, and they'll say, well, show us your fucking information, and I'm like, well, here's the Post, right? And it's not just bots, it's 10% human being, 90% AI. So 90% of the people that force that conversation on behalf of Jordan Peterson are not even fucking real, dude. Like people. None of them. Zero. No. They're not people. They're not humans. They are co-opted old accounts that they've stolen, or they're brand new accounts with no followers that they joined in 2022 and 2021. And I was watching Theo Moudakis. Do you guys know him? The Toronto Star
cartoonist.
He's
great
fucking
guy.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah.
I was watching him battle these guys over the past few days, and it inspired me to tell people about how this works. And how it works is you take a fucking village idiot like Jordan Peterson, who's got a massive following, you give him money, you help re-platform him, and you make him that useful idiot that delivers this information on behalf of the network. And then guys like Canada Proud come along and they go, hey, we got to put this out. This is going to be great. This is a fucking plan. This network is planned. This disinformation is legitimately planned. It is not like, oh, this guy just said something ridiculous again. There's a pattern here, and there's a schedule for this stuff to put it at the feet of Canadians to make us feel like shit about ourselves and our country, and to turn the tide of hope or whatever it is that people have in this government, if you do have some, against Justin Trudeau. And then all the bots come along and they support it, which is
such a bad thing.
It's fucking it is, but it isn't. And it is only because it's not real, dude. Like, this is the continual disinformation pattern.
And we should be even more concerned that guy has managed to create, take the bots out of it. There is a very loyal audience to that man, and I think we should be concerned about that. If you're listening to this podcast right now and there's somebody in your life, somebody that's been introduced or somebody you've known for a long time that seems to be going down the Jordan Peterson wormhole, take them out for coffee, have a talk with them, make sure they're okay. Like, that's where my head's at when I see whenever we do the Jordan Peterson stuff. Right? Like, we can't ignore the fact that guy has managed to secure a very passionate and energetic
help him secure
fan base.
Yeah, but
no one's listening to you about. They'll block it out, Dean. You're preaching to.
I'm not talking to them, dude. I'm talking to the people that stand there and go, "What is this guy? Why is he so fucking popular? And why does this hate continue to make its way around? And why do people take him seriously?" I'm talking to them. I'm not talking to the people who are already fucking brainwashed.
Yeah, there's no talking to them.
Yeah, but there is something we should be concerned about, the people that are going down that path that are already brainwashed. Like, we should be concerned about that. I understand what you're doing, and I get it, Dean, and it makes sense, and I'm glad you're doing it. I had no idea it went this deep. And it's you're making very interesting connections, right? But I'm just saying, I've been bothered, but since I've watched him go off the deep end, I have actually had a conversation with one person, and it was just a quick conversation. I was just like, hey, listen, I know you like him, and yes, he's a smart man, but just look behind the curtain a bit. He's not what you think he is, and I'm concerned that you're propping up his ideas as something to live by. That fucking bothers me. It concerns me that guy has got this following, right? Like, we're losing some of these people they need something in their lives. We're losing them. And the more of those people, I think, that's
why it's funny when you hear
sucks in, it's not good.
When you're arguing or you're talking to them and you call them a bot, you're like, oh, you're okay, bot. And they're like, I'm a real person. It's like, well, no, you don't understand. We're not calling you a robot. We're calling you somebody that's been actually taken over by a bot. And now you're doing the bot's work. Nobody's paying you to do this. You've literally become what they tried to make you. And here you are. It's it's brilliant when you look at it, like from a psychological aspect, and you actually dig into it like Dean has. And I've done some work, and I've written some articles on it. It's fascinating to watch how the process works and unfolds and like you say, vulnerable people. But there's only so much you can do to protect somebody from themselves. And you have to let go of that feeling of guilt that, well, there goes another one. Well, guess what? There goes another one.
I don't share those same feelings of guilt.
I don't either, because you also have to realize that that's a very, very, and that's why it's called a fringe minority, because it literally is a fringe minority of people just because they're loud.
But it's made to look like a massive majority
Yes.
of people through
That's
AI
right.
and
Through
these
AI
fucking
and
losers
bots.
and
That's
who are
right.
not real. Yeah.
And,
Well,
but
When are you
most of the
guys
people
gonna
are still,
if PP gets in? Are you guys gonna?
That won't
he's
happen.
still be thinking
He'll never
there's
happen.
a fringe
He'll never
thing?
get in.
he will never
It's
get
not
in,
gonna happen.
Lachlan.
Never.
It'll never happen.
Those bots can't vote, Locke. That's the thing.
Our next prime minister is going to be PP.
No,
No, it's not.
No way.
No.
No,
Paulie,
it's
you
not
wanted
gonna
to say
happen.
something
Write
about
down the
Peterson,
date.
right?
Write
You
down
wanted
the
to say
date.
something about this.
I will.
What is it? Thursday, July 28th. It's 2:23
Lachlan says.
Mountain Standard
He's
Time.
unelectable because he's that much of a fascist dictator, and I got him dead to rights. Don't worry.
You guys,
He's not
I'm
getting
worried.
elected.
I'm
There's
fucking
no way.
really worried.
You know what-
I'm
you know what
worried.
that means,
That's
though,
why
Locke?
I'm worried when we have these conversations.
Th-
I have weekly conversations about Jordan Peterson with people. Weekly.
Yep.
Weekly.
And
I bought
you
his
know what?
book. I'm reading his book. He said this. Did you know this?
Yeah, but you live
It's
in Alberta.
bothering me.
You live in the fertile grounds. You know what concerns me? No, you know what concerns me is how concerned you are.
Mm-hmm.
That
You're not
concerns me.
concerned?
Oh, we
No,
are.
I'm concerned for
In
you, for your
January,
level.
The beginning of January, we were talking about this convoy.
Yep.
And I remember you guys going, hey, there's a couple hundred people coming. And then fucking 8,000 fucking people ended up in Ottawa.
There's
and then they
35
stayed-
million people in this country, Lachlan.
Fine.
38.
Keep going.
When we first started talking about it, Linz, you guys were laughing at it like it was nobody. And it
Still
was a
laughing at it.
joke.
I'm still laughing at it because it was nobody.
And it is a joke, but 8,000 people ended up for a month and a half in our nation's capital.
Downtown.
I'm telling you right now.
On my street.
I'm telling you
Literally
right
on
now,
my
this
street.
is not a fringe minority. This is something that is
Paul.
eking its way into.
Paul, as somebody that was there, was it a fringe minority?
Yeah, very much so. Very much so, Locke. This isn't.
And was it
these people-
was it systemic failures that caused it to last for 3.5 weeks and not
Yes.
a major uprising of people? Was it just because of failures in the government?
The municipal government and the provincial government failed to do a damn thing. I can guarantee.
And did the media make it look like? Sorry, let me just finish this really quick. Did the media make it look like it was an incredibly fucking catastrophic major event where it really was just a bumbling bunch of fucking idiots not knowing how to take control of a minor
You
situation?
couldn't clear the trailer park. Yeah.
It
You've been
certainly
wrong.
was
You-
that.
you
There
guys
were a
have
lot
been
of
wrong
bad
about
things
the
that happened.
numbers in
though.
the past.
Go
You've
ahead,
been
Paulie.
wrong about them.
Yeah.
There were a
we
lot
know.
of
You were
bad things
wrong.
that happened, though. I mean, there was a lot of assaults that took place on seniors and especially younger teenagers. University and high school students were getting assaulted because they were wearing a mask on the LRT when the train runs, and they were literally defecating in the streets. They were yelling at seniors and assaulting people. I mean, that all did happen, but it was a catastrophic failure on behalf of the chief of police, the mayor of Ottawa. We had a couple of city councillors and my MPP for my region come out and actually try and represent and make change. But
I want to throw Doug Ford in there too.
I was just about to get to
The
Doug.
absent premier.
Fuck you,
Just about to
Doug.
get to Doug. He was on the phone 24/7. Remember, the phone in the winter is his skidoo.
Yeah.
That's the name of his skidoo, on the phone, because that's all he was doing, was riding a skidoo. He didn't do a damn thing for Ottawa. He didn't even know that it was in the province of Ontario, for Christ's sake. He never lifted a finger. And there are phone calls, I'm sure you've seen the video of some people involved with the convoy that had, videotaping themselves having a phone call with Doug on speakerphone. He's saying, don't worry, we'll get it all taken care of. His daughter was here the whole time, which is why he wouldn't lift a finger to do anything. I can guarantee you, if Justin's father was the man that was in charge on the Hill, that would have been cleared up after the first weekend.
Yeah.
It would not have gone on for 3
Who,
weeks.
Pierre?
Yeah,
He's dead.
I know. But had he been the guy in power,
but the woulda, coulda. Who
he would have
that
said,
doesn't matter.
just watch me. But you're right. But it was a catastrophic failure.
I'm just
provincially and
I'm
municipally.
talking about reality. We're talking about the actual reality, not the perceptions and not the what ifs. What was the reality? A bunch of people showed up,
idiots,
and and all levels of government just didn't know what the fuck to do with them, and they didn't they didn't want a PR nightmare. So then what did it do? It showed the country every town has idiots. So yeah, you might get 20 guys showing up in your little town square every weekend being fucking stupid. And because they were egged on by this, the thing that you're saying, Lachlan, it's not a fringe minority. This is a fucking movement. No, it's not.
He didn't talk like that, to be fair. He didn't talk like that.
Sorry. I can't do a good Lachlan. I can't do it. It's too low, just and there's a thing. It's true. Really but
can I insert
that's what it is. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I want to insert a brief how that all comes together is this, and how it all ties back into Jordan Peterson. No, you're right. But I understand what Lachlan's saying is like, we were joking around about the trucker convoy before it started. Yeah. It turned into a thing that they needed to enact the Emergencies Act to move those fucking urban campers.
We were doing podcasts for 7 days a week for like a month.
Totally. Yeah.
They didn't need to do that though. They didn't need it.
Exactly. And this is how it ties back into Jordan Peterson. Who was the dude in Canada one of the dudes who helped lead the charge about calling this an expression of freedom? Who was it? It was this guy. It was this guy.
Peterson, yeah.
It was Peterson. Who was it that appeared on Rogan talking about how these people were doing nothing other than expressing themselves against the totalitarian Trudeau?
Rogan still
it was this guy.
Yeah.
And then who recorded a 6-minute fucking micro clip to be sent to Canada Proud to then brand it for the racists on behalf of him to look more palatable, to send around to people, to anger them and outrage bait them and to farm anger among the same dumb fucks who are literally switched on by his craziness. Who is it? It's this fucking guy. And this guy is 4 months at a secret location in Russia. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
No, and I get it. I know what you're saying, dude. That's why we're talking about it now, because it is a concern for me. And it's only a concern for me, not my personal safety. Fuck, I could care less about that. It's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is the fact that this kind of stuff needs to be put in the forefront, and you need to be able to connect all of these dots so that when you look at that stuff, you don't get mad, and it's easier for you just to block the trolls and deal with it in a way that is honest and responsible. Otherwise, we're going to get churches popping up. And dude, speaking of church, and I'm going to get to it in just a second. This has led to the start of a brand new church in Ottawa, and I want to get it for a second. But where does Jordan Peterson align with the people that have a real issue with COVID mandates, being kind to others, not using cruelty as a strategy, being a good human being, learning about personal responsibility, which he says to fight against all the time. He says to fight against a personal responsibility. That's what his book is all about. It's this fucking most ridiculous shit you've ever read in your life. But he says fight against personal responsibility. So where does that come from? He's in Russia 4 months. I want you to watch this 2-minute clip. It's just 2 minutes. 2 minutes of your life. Not that big of a deal, right? You don't have to worry about it. 2 minutes. Not that big of a deal.
It's 2 minutes.
This is a clip of him talking about what's really important to Jordo. What his governing light, his governing MO, his life's purpose, how he identifies as Russian Orthodox. How fucking great is that? Let me play you this clip and let's talk on the other side of it. We'll meet right back here. Yeah.
I know that the Eastern Orthodox churches stress the idea that the fundamental ethical responsibility of the individual is to become as Christ-like as possible. And I think that that is the fundamental ethical responsibility, basically by definition, because at minimum, speaking psychologically, which is the safest way to speak about such things, the figure of Christ is the ideal avatar of the good in the Western imagination. And thus, it's by definition that your ethical obligation is to imitate that in every way that's possible. And that's specified to some degree. It means to treat being itself with love even your enemies, to not wish them ill, but to wish the good for them as well, and to tell the truth, and to live by the dictates of your conscience, and that's the pathway to divinity. I think that's all true. So, I was deeply influenced in my thinking, as most of the people who are watching this would know, by Carl Jung, and he was certainly influenced by his knowledge of the Eastern Orthodox doctrine. And so I've been influenced by the Eastern Orthodox Church via that route. I think that there isn't any more serious question than your relationship to the ideal, again, virtually by definition, and that there isn't anything better that you can do than attempt to embody that good as fully as possible. And I've tried to make a practical case for that, I suppose, and with respect for the idea. And perhaps that's why so many people from the Eastern Orthodox Church in particular seem to find resonance in my ideas.
Anyone?
Way to make it about yourself, Jordan.
Right at the end there. You catch that? That's why they resonate with me.
Hey, one last thing about Jordan Peterson and his Russian Orthodox religion, which he expressly says is his driving force. It's his MO. It's his life's goal to be Christ-like. In Russian Orthodox, Eastern Orthodox religion speaks directly to him, and it's his reason for living. You'll never guess who had to sign off on the war in Ukraine. You'll never guess. You'll never guess. Anyone?
The Orthodox Church.
The Russian Orthodox Church. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. There you go.
They were consulted. They were consulted immediately.
For everybody, are we good? This guy named Kirill, who's like a fucking a billionaire head of the Russian Orthodox Church. He's an oligarch. And Putin has used the church to tell people he's fighting a holy war, which was actually repeated yesterday by a whole bunch of Russian generals saying this is a holy war. This is a holy war. Jordan Peterson, hey, he's admitted that the Russians are committed to a holy war, which he has no problem of. No problem.
He's commented publicly about this
absolutely.
war.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it says it's there to fight Western. Dude, you want me to play it for you? Here you go. This is Jordan talking about that very thing. It all ties back together to his personal belief system, which is Russian Orthodoxy. And this is after 4 months of him spending time there. Are you fucking kidding me? Let's watch this together.
And are we degenerate in a profoundly threatening manner? I think the answer to that may well be yes. The idea that we are ensconced in a culture war has become a rhetorical commonplace. How serious is that war? Is it serious enough to increase the probability that Russia, say, will be motivated to invade and potentially incapacitate Ukraine merely to keep the pathological West out of that country, which is a key part of the historically Russian sphere of influence?
How are we doing?
Well,
you guys good?
This is kind of crazy, right?
So when I say stuff like Jordan Peterson is a Russian asset, I'm not just making it up.
No,
he writes his own receipts. Yeah,
absolutely, he does. Our comment section's going insane, by the way. Everybody's like, "Oh my god!" Do you know how we put this together? Google.
Yeah. Did our own research
and his own videos, folks. Like, go watch him tell on himself. Just go tell him what.
Trust Google. No wonder I fucking never agree with you guys. Google machine.
Put it in the Googler. You'll be okay.
Yeah.
You're a Bing guy.
Bring Bing back.
I'm a real Bing guy too. Yeah, I don't mind Bing. But there you go. That is, and so when I say, because I put out a tweet and I attacked by these bots over the past few days and fucking people that don't like this. They're all people that believe in the same belief system. They love Jesus. They are all born again. They are all some kind of denomination of evangelical, and they all absolutely fucking hate me now, and I fucking love it.
Well, the whole aspect of him saying, "Let's be more Christ-like."
I didn't know whether to jerk off or just keep posting. That's how excited I was.
I just loved how you kept on retweeting it and quote tweeting it and telling them, this makes you mad, so I'm going to do it again. Yeah. It was fantastic.
Troll the trolls. It's fun
still
to
me,
do.
Locke. I'm still me, bro.
Yeah, no,
I've
just
told
tells on
you,
himself.
You have to make sure you keep a little bit of the Dick Dean in you. right? I mean, you've gone through a bit of a metamorphosis in the last 5-10 years, and a lot of it has been for the good of yourself and the rest of us.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always said, hang on to a bit of the Dick Dean. You need to. It's part of your making.
I just use Dick Dean for good things now.
It's good to have.
Let him run around in the yard a little bit, like a prison visit. It's like a conjugal. These are like conjugal visits for old B.
He's like the kid that lives under the stairs. He comes out every once in a while. You throw him a bone.
Rages, then puts together. Anyway,
he's a good delivery source.
Wearing overalls and has porridge on his face.
What were you saying, Linz?
No, I said it's good to have. It's good to have as the delivery system for the actual good. So you have a message, but it gets drowned out on Twitter when people are just trying to be noble and say the right things because nobody gives a shit. So if you put a little bit of pepper on it, a little bit of hot sauce, like Dean does, it gets some traction. And and then that also brings out the boss.
There's some people that shouldn't be doing that though.
True. Yeah, people that don't do their homework.
And I see it all the time. And even people that do their homework, they don't have, there's an approach and a subtlety to being an asshole that a lot of people are not good at. That's why I encourage Dean to continue to do it because he's good at it. Right? Like he is a good asshole. Some people are not good assholes and they wear it like a bad fitting suit.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It makes sense what you're saying, Locke. It does.
Yeah.
You know, you can use that fire, right? Use the fire to ignite the goodness in people, but you have to do it in an angry way because happiness, joy, goodness, it doesn't sell. It doesn't track.
Algorithms go after anger and not after fun and hope and
true.
happiness. You guys, we've been talking about this. We talked about this all week,
sad.
Man.
It is sad, but it's true.
Sad.
It's true.
Dude, did you not see that one study on Twitter the other day, Locke, where it's like 167% of right-wing shit gets shared more than 43% of like left-wing shit? Not even left-wing, just common sense.
We keep missing the irony of this whole thing is that the people that work at Twitter and run Twitter and own Twitter are very left-leaning. It is a very left-leaning organization. Yet they have presented a platform that ignites the right and hatred and
same
anger.
with Facebook.
They love money.
Yeah.
They love money. They can be left all leaning personally all they want, but they love cash, man, and that's what pays the bills and keeps the lights on at Twitter and Facebook and Instagram.
Look at Candace Owens, right? Candace Owens, black woman, extreme right-wing Republican that has talking points from white supremacy.
Yeah.
Why?
Because it sells
money. That's it.
Dude,
that's all it is.
Because those crazy fucks donate, and centrist normal people like us don't.
Yeah.
Right.
To that point, Paul is in Ottawa. And just to remind everybody, Paul, also one of the hosts of the True Eager Beaver Podcast. Paul came to us this last winter, actually, through the Convoy. It's where we met Paul, get to know Paul. Does a great political podcast. It's super accessible. You'll love it.
Screaming at people caught in gridlock.
Yeah. Let's just take a little trip down memory lane. This is Paul, right? This is Paul trying to protect Ottawa. That's what he's been trying to do.
Fucking freedom have you lost? What freedom have you lost? Tell me a freedom you've lost. I lost my mind because I haven't slept in 5 fucking days. I fucking hear it. And it's not even hard. I love you. The diesel engine runs left. It drives a fucking person crazy. It is. Yeah. But I want it to stop. Hey, Chris. I want it to stop. It has to.
This is where it gets exciting.
Then it stops when the government lifts the mandates.
You fucking idiot! The mandates are provincial, not federal.
That's the grab right there.
Oh, they memed the hell out of me for that one too, but I don't care. They're like, aren't you ashamed? Aren't you embarrassed? What? I'm in my 50s. I don't give a shit. I don't care.
You put a picture on Twitter during Canada Day where you were in a red Speedo beer. Like, you don't give a shit, dude.
I don't care.
Tell me about this church that these fucking losers started. This is in Ottawa. This is in your hometown. This is not far from you. Tell me about this.
I used to live quite literally about 100 meters across the street from that church for about
St.
4 or 5
Bridget's?
years.
St. Bridget's?
St. Bridget's. It's a 130-year-old church. It's a beautiful building. I've worked in there. I've done some work in there. I've done sound engineering, presented a live comedy show once or twice. Not myself doing the comedy, me just doing the audio. And it's a beautiful building. Now, it was an arts and culture center. Which way do I got to lean here?
Yeah, there you go.
After it was deconsecrated, and they had an Irish pub in the basement.
My penis
as well.
is coming next, by the way.
Yeah.
And it was a wonderful community center. And then, of course, the pandemic came along, and it's been closed for like 2.5 years. So as a result, it's gone under some disrepair. It's been falling apart. So now you got these wingnuts who want to buy it for almost $6 million and turn it into what they're calling the Embassy for the United People of Canada. Or if you put the letters together, TUPOC. TUPOC.
California love.
And they say they want to be unite the country, and they're on the Freedom Rising webpage. They're just. I don't know what to make of them. William Komer he was one of the Freedom Convoy guys. Duane Lich is involved with it, although
Tammy
Lich's husband.
Yeah. She says she isn't, but they questioned her about that yesterday in her bail
trying to
hearing.
distance herself because she was the treasurer of the the Maverick
Convoy,
Party and
the
Convoy.
No, she's the president of the. She was like the treasurer for the Convoy, and
Yellow Vesters,
the same convoy that has $8 million in investor money missing or donor money missing, and this church cost $6 million, and somehow they paid for cash, and they're like, we didn't use any convoy money.
And an incredibly Fruit Looped individual now is coming up saying that he's the financer, but isn't telling him how much that he's actually.
Right.
There he is.
This guy. By the way, this is in the London Free Press, which is a post-media organization. Look at this dude. Some guy named Anthony Kuzakrea, president of Planmar Financial Corp, smiles in his Love First t-shirt while standing in his London office. He's the, quote, London investment advisor helping bankroll the little-known organization's plan to buy and renovate the Ottawa church. Says he believes Ottawa residents' unease about the perceived relationship between the Freedom Convoys overblown. Well, let's look into that if we can. Nope, that's the wrong one.
He looks like he grows his hair in a separate room at night.
He's using Just for Men and Who's Kidding Who, and he's not fooling anybody. He's 78. Come on, nobody's hair is that color at that age.
Sweet tits, Tony.
He's lying to you right when you meet him because his hair is a different color than his pubic hair. I can tell you that right now. But this is what he says is express gold. Why Ottawa? Kuzakrea says it was a confluence of William Komer, who you'll meet in a second. Looks like he cries in the corner and fingers his own bumstein at night. Anyway, Komer, knowing people there in the church becoming available at a reasonable price, $6 million, quote, and we love Ottawa as being the capital of Canada. We love that it's the capital of Canada. This is what he says he wants to do with it. Tony, the 78-year-old investor, bought the United People of Canada's plan to buy the former church, saying, quote, his longer-term plans is to turn the entire block of the church where it sits into an open mini Disney World.
Yeah, that'll go over real well in Lower Town.
You can't.
Somebody called it Canada's Blunderland today. I thought that was pretty fucking good.
Is that why Canada's Wonderland was trending today?
Yes.
Because of this fucking jack off?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the best. Everybody that's involved on the board of directors was a organizer or a documentarian for the convoy. And the guy who's the director's name is William Komer. Look at this guy. Tell me he doesn't have a whole bunch of like preteen heads in his freezer. Have a look at this guy.
Oh God.
And look at their logo. The white tree with 13 Canadian maple leafs and the odal rune in its roots. You know what the odal rune is, right?
Yeah,
no. What is
I
that?
know it very well. So let's have a look at the logo. This is their logo.
What's the odal rune?
This tree is actually from a Lord of the Rings. It's the Gondor logo. So they stole it.
They adopted it.
Stole it. They put 13 Canadian flags on the top of it to denote family tree. Now, you see this little thing, this crossed root system at the bottom? That's what Paulie's talking about. That's what this is. It's called the Ottawa rune, or the, how do you say it?
Odal
rune. This is 8th century Scandinavian. I did a little research into this because I don't mind a little research. I like reading about the things I'm talking about.
It's a nice rabbit hole to go down.
It really is. It is a banned Nazi symbol in Germany since the 40s. Obviously, banned imagery of the Nazis because they and they co-opted that whole thing from Scandinavia. So the reason why is because that rune, the Ottawa rune, or however the fuck you say it, was a rune or a signal or a what do you call this thing? Signal. What do you call
iconography? An icon.
Yeah, it was iconography.
Iconography.
And it was and it was created to denote white familial nobility in Scandinavia in the 7th century, 8th century. So this was used to tell people, hey, listen, this is the home of a noble white family of non-mixed race in this area in Scandinavia. And it was used like literally pre-medieval shit. And back in the 30s and 40s, Hitler...
Are they making all their members spit into a cup? Because the 23andMe might be very interesting based on just some of the fucking pictures I've seen of these mutts.
Yeah.
But it's
Come
been...
You might not
Mom
be as white as you think you are there, Jackie.
Real shame.
Aunt, Mom, and Uncle Dad.
But yeah, they use literally Nazi imagery in this whole thing, and it's all about denoting white supremacy, white nobility, white family, and religion, right? Like that is what it is, and they've co-opted it, and that's what this church is. Are they?
That's why they didn't take over an H&R Block. That's why they took over a church.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
You guys know.
Yeah. Exactly. That's exactly why they took over the church. What's the Paul? What's the hum in the city of Ottawa? Like, are people skeptical of these fucking jackoffs or no?
Yeah, people are skeptical and pissed because we don't want to have another freedom convoy. As evidenced by the last couple of times they tried to show up, that the people en masse in the city said, no, get the hell out. Get out. We don't want you here. And now they're going to try and set down permanent roots in a heritage building, by the way. If you notice, there's a plaque in that photo. It's a recognized heritage property, so they can't...
How did they get to buy it?
It's like 130 years old or something, isn't it?
It's 130 years old. Yeah. Well, they're trying to buy it. They haven't secured it yet. It's a 5.95 million. They're trying to buy it. They've already started to do renovations. Yeah. They're doing renovations on a building they don't own yet.
Yeah.
So I don't know what is going on there.
Where it's not your money.
Maybe you'll get lucky and the racist church won't be opened up there.
Well, I think I sent Dean a thing earlier today. They're having from the 8th of August to the 14th, I think they're having every day. They're going to have a discussion at 11 a.m. to discuss the Freedom Convoy. I'm like, I should attend one or two of those and tell them my opinion and how I felt about the Freedom Convoy. Oh yeah, damn right I would.
Jacket.
Damn right I would.
Live stream it, would you?
Let them know who you are.
Well, it's Monday to Friday at 11 a.m. and I'm at work, so I'll have to take a day off to do it, right? But
want to go through their website with us real quick?
Yeah.
This is hot. The United People of Canada website, TUPOC.ca. California love. Let me welcome everybody.
So white.
Wow,
Speaking of extra white people.
Yeah. What's that, Locke?
West Side.
We need to get auto-tune on you, Dean.
California love. So here's the website. It's got the Nazi tree in the front, which is cool. The United People of Canada. This is how they describe themselves, you guys. A diverse, intergenerational, fraternal organization. Together through the appreciation. I want you to listen to how, diverse meaning if you're white, you're all right. Through the appreciation and celebration of our unique culture and heritage. What culture?
Very unique.
Is that? We will build strong families and communities, solidifying prosperous future for all Canadians, where all voices are heard. Very fucking SS right there.
Mm-hmm.
Together through the appreciation and celebration of our unique culture and heritage. Oh, that's nice. And then, some dumb pictures. Together we are strong. We believe, this is their statement, we believe that we have a shared responsibility to take action and provide service to others in our community and globally. At the United People of Canada, we celebrate individuality, diversity, and treat all people with respect. Unless, of course, you're a liberal, then fuck you. No, I just made that. We're up-and-coming network of community service club locations across Canada with the goal of making the world safer, kinder, and more accessible. All right. We host community events, organize fundraising for global causes and local community enrichment projects, support and help local businesses, participate community services, offer educational resources, and more. We believe that everyone has the capacity for change making. When we stand together, united in the goal to make positive impacts around us, we create more true and wonderful world for all, everybody.
Oh, come on, people now. Shine on your brother. Everybody get together.
Then they've got the Truth and Reconciliation Community Conversation. That's happening. Oh, that already happened. That was a fundraiser, by the way.
They want to raise $100,000.
Yeah. Off of the truth and off of literally residential school survivors. They're trying to make $100,000. Then they've got another fundraiser, which you can RSVP for, the weekly barbecue. I talked to someone that went to one of these.
That's bland as fuck.
6 people show up. And then every day they're having the Freedom Convoy Community Conversation, Part 1. Bias in the justice system. So they're using a black man being kettled by a white officer to make money. That's also a fundraiser.
Wait, hang on. Let's dive into that one really quick. Can you read that? I can't see it from here.
Yeah, many people have expressed concerns regarding the differential treatment in the justice system. The United People of Canada will be hosting a community conversation at the embassy in Ottawa to provide an opportunity for the community to come together on a mission for truth speaking and healing.
See, you know what they didn't do there? Did you notice? They didn't actually say it was wrong. Mm-hmm. They said, let's just talk about it.
Let's have a conversation.
Let's talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to both sides shit is what they're trying to do.
Sorry, but that's okay.
It's really well put together.
But it's
so
generic and fucking stupid.
Like, it's not what I would have expected.
No, and everything's about this. We're just trying to help. Like, that's all that is. It's a church, it's an embassy. Like, we're just trying to help. And everything that they're trying to help with is geared towards anybody who has an issue with this country. And it hides behind, we're just here for the help. Come on in and talk about the bias in the justice system, which is like, come on in and let's talk about how you were treated by the police during the convoy. Yeah. Or it's like, let's talk about the indigenous system.
They compare it to the bias in that, culturally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Bingo. My favorite part is the shop, though. What great organization! What great organization doesn't start off they're saving the world with selling overpriced golf shirts for $50, hats for $33, water bottles for $45, skater dresses. Nothing says "let me save your soul" like a skater dress for $200. Women's high top canvas shoes or men's. Those are down from $250 to $187.50.
Jesus,
you know how much those cost? By the way, like for you to buy them, like just from Walmart or Amazon, $30,
$18.
Yeah. Keychains, official hoodies, official T-shirts. This is where you get the fucking money washing, ladies and gentlemen.
There we go.
You can donate.
Well, let's just say that this is what you guys are saying it is, and it's a front for, and it feels that way, and it is a front. They have to put the best appearance forward if they are going to apply for a nonprofit status, right? And they can't really say out loud what the intention is. I mean, if it is nefarious, somebody from some organization, so they've got to do all this, right?
Well, they have, and that's the thing. A lot of people don't realize when a nonprofit applies to be a nonprofit, they can operate as such until the application process is done. So the day that they file that application, they can actually run as a nonprofit. Yeah. And then if it's denied later on, they have to stop immediately. But up until that point, this is a smash and grab.
Yeah. Why would a nonprofit ask for $1,000 donation?
Well, to be fair, you can also give 500.
Yes, yeah.
250, 100.
As little as 5. Look at
20,
that.
10, and 5. Don't give them 3, though. There's no button for 3 or 6.
The shirts at DeanBlundell.com are much cheaper, folks, by the way. Just saying.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, our shirts.
100, like it's the.
Would
it's
you
the
guys
kicks.
judge me if I got that water bottle?
Yes.
I'd like
would.
to see in that skater dress. Actually, I'd buy it if you'd wear it.
I wouldn't judge you.
It's like the kicks though on sale for $187.50 down from $250.
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh wow, it's a deal now, honey. Let's
They're-
get two.
They're not even Walmart branded Converse. I mean, they're trying to rip off Converse, right?
Yeah.
There's a con, all right.
Oh yeah.
There's the grift, kids. There's the grift.
Wow.
Well,
That's all it is.
Isn't
if we
there
go back to the
connection
rune for a
between
sec,
white
guys.
Yeah, please.
And Converse though?
Sorry.
What's that?
Didn't the skinheads all wear cons?
Yeah.
back in the day?
Yeah.
I think there is a connection there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there is.
punks.
Sorry, back to the rune, Paulie.
If you go back to the rune in March, what was it? March 31st, 2021, CPAC.
The CPAC, yeah, the stage.
That was their stage.
Yeah.
Huh?
That was
the
their
actual
stage.
floor.
like this. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't like. Fuck, this guy makes me laugh. He looks like such a loser.
You know how we always call people skin tags? That is actually looks like a human skin tag.
Well, and just so
He
everybody
kind of
knows,
looks like Andrew Scheer, don't you
the
think?
tips included when he shows up with your food.
You'll never guess what he shares in common with everybody else.
You don't have to tip them; they put it on the app. It's through the app.
He
If
looks like
anybody
Andrew
sees him-
Scheer.
Can you ask them why they stopped putting that really good hot sauce at Red Rockets? I'd like to know.
Yeah, this is fascinating to me, and the reason why this guy fascinates me is because he shares an office building with the dude with the fucked up hair, right? That these guys share an office building. They also the other thing that it's in London. That's where their headquarters are. The other thing that these guys share, and they share with our man Jordo, is that this guy Carmen is an absolute evangelical waste of space. This guy is an evangelical Orthodox Christian as well, William Komer. Guess who else is? The guy we've been talking about for, I don't know, the past hour and a half, Jordan Peterson.
So is this church? Are they more Orthodox? Like, is there?
They've taken over the church and they're calling it an embassy. There's no actual religious affiliation to it. No.
Yeah.
Although
they're
this
hiding. They're hiding what they
Korea?
really want.
Oh, of course they are. He says he's a deeply religious man.
If you lift up that skater dress, you'll find the religion because it's just draped in bullshit right now until that tax status goes through. I'm telling you, man, when it comes to stuff like this, we're in trouble. And you nailed it on the head yesterday with the guy from the PBCC when they were talking about what they do at this point now, and that is when they deny them that tax status and they try and sue them, and then they're going to sue them individually, and they're going to tie up the courts to the point where the government's just like, fuck it, give it to them, shut them up, and we'll just keep an eye on them. And this is how it grows. This is how it starts. This is how places like the PBCC started. Right here. You're watching it happen. This is the birth. This is the sperm hitting the egg right now of what the PBCC is right now, today.
How soon before they start asking for the, the prosperity Bible, where you plant the financial seeds and they will, you plant the seed, you send a donation of $25 this month, and next month give us 50, and the month after that give us 100, because that prosperity will come back to you tenfold, which is the biggest crock of shit there is. Come on.
Yeah, dude, it's all about the money, which is frustrating because, these guys are probably let's just go back to this for a second. This is the frustration part for me, is that this isn't just about you donating, Locke, or strangers donating to some church that is incredibly nondescript and it says they're just here to do fun stuff. No one's going to give those guys $1,000, but there's a bunch of money sitting some account somewhere from Give, Send, Go donors that needs to go somewhere, right? So what's the fastest way to do that?
Yeah. That's what this
Donate
is.
it to the
Bottom
church.
line, I think we've sort of nailed it. This is a way to hide that money, and it is so funny that I mean we're just four guys on a podcast. We all live fairly normal lives outside of this. This is pretty unique for me, if I'm being honest. But I mean, there isn't one person that I've met that doesn't think that missing convoy money went to this church.
Well, and that's where it's heading, right? And that's what Dean's making that point. And another thing that gives me a bit of a relief, a sigh of internal relief, is what Mubin said yesterday, was these people are already being watched very closely.
Yes,
and that includes people like FinTrack, and FinTrack will track those donations right down to the press that was printed where that money came from before.
Yeah, but the money's missing.
Bank. It's not missing. It's they. I guarantee you. The government knows exactly where it is. They're just not telling us yet. They're not going to tell you.
Okay,
yet.
All right.
Because technically it's none of our business right now. It will become our business when that disclosure comes out, and we're going to find out. But what you guys all saw Breaking Bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember when his son set up that website and they just started pumping the drug money through the website for his cancer? That's what this is.
Yeah.
That's what you're watching.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they're under a microscope. I have a friend who works in counterterrorism, and he told me, he says, when the Clownvoy, as I like to call it, was going on here, he had to work. He was working 7 days a week for like 21 days straight, monitoring everything, because that's his job. He is when people say do your own research, that's what his job is to do research. He's a professional researcher. So he says, don't worry, bud. We've got them under the microscope. It's being well looked at by a number of agencies in this country.
Yeah. It's a lot of people don't realize that CSIS doesn't do. They're not an enforcement agency. They're an intelligence agency, which provides the intelligence to the authorities to do the work. So it's a process, and it takes a while.
Mm-hmm. Well, you've got CSIS, CSEC, which is, it was CSE, and now it was CSEC for a while, now it's back to CSE, which is Communications Security Establishment, which effectively in this country you could call them the equivalent of the NSA. CSIS would be the CIA, and CSE is the NSA. These guys are super snoops. They use super computers. I've worked in the building. I've seen it. Trust me when I say this, they're observing everything. They don't screw around. And like you said, Ryan, it takes time. They don't, why did it take so long to arrest Tamara after 3 weeks? They have to build the case. They have to gather the evidence. It was frustrating to every single one of us while they were allowed to continue for 3 weeks when no policing was being done. I mean, I'd walk down the street on a Saturday night. People are drinking beer in the street, having pit fires on Metcalfe Street, for Christ's sake, mere meters from Parliament Hill. How warped is that? That is not normal. Imagine
trying to bring that many propane tanks near the White House in the United States. You know
what I mean?
Shot.
Well, to be fair, that doesn't. Like if Lachlan was walking down Bank Street and he saw someone burning their garbage to him in Alberta, if I'm not mistaken, that's just a Thursday, right?
Well, I have a couch I'm getting rid of this weekend.
I'm sure that church will take it as a donation.
Yeah, if you give the church $1,000, they'll burn your garbage. No, man, it all comes
Scary
together.
Stuff.
It's all about the network. It is and it isn't. It's like, it's funny.
So
because,
now you're fucking worried?
No.
I mean, on path, you guys. Jesus.
No. I'm saying it's concerning, but I rest easy in knowing when we talk to people like Mubin and we talk to other professionals in this industry that it's well looked at, well taken care of. Totally. It's just none of my fucking business how they do it. And if it takes them a couple months to crack the whip, and then all of a sudden you realize, like, look what just happened in Toronto. That article I shared with you guys about the stolen car rings, and there was people on the inside working for the provincial government changing VIN numbers for these organized crime rings, and they knew about it for months. This Project Myra went on for months and months and months, but they're waiting until the ducks are in the row to say, okay, pull the trigger, it's done now. And when they take it down, they take it all down. They don't take it down piece by. It's not Tamara Lich as fuck. Who cares? Pat King, he can keep limping away. It's fine. It's until they can actually grab the snake and chop its head off. That's when you're going to see it. And this kind of stuff will all just wither and die. And
I have a feeling they're going to wait to until closer to the election, because these things take years, right? Like the January 6th stuff. January 6th was last year. January 6th. They're just doing the hearings now. It took like a year and a half to get to this point.
Yeah.
The convoy was 6 months ago. Right?
Exactly.
It's going to take another year to get to the point where we're all like, I see what. Oh, I see how that works. Oh, exactly. I get it. You like, and it's funny to watch from the outside. And then you have guys on the inside like Mubin, who was on the show yesterday, and we're like, are they keeping an eye on these guys? And he's like, oh, fuck, dude. Yeah. Don't worry about it.
I love that guy, by the way.
He's very, very, very careful about what he said.
He has to be.
Right.
But he gave us the old
kind of the wink
just
and the
so
nod.
you know.
Just the nod,
yeah.
the acknowledgement.
And And you know what, the only scary part in that conversation, which kind of leads into this one, was when he was like, you've got very biased people that believe in this bullshit that work in all the levels of government, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what's going on now. They're going in. That was what he said, is that government officials are literally going in to talk to people that work for the government that share the same views as these fucking jackwagons, and saying, hey, we know about you. You got a choice to make. You can either rehabilitate some of your personal views when it comes to hurting Canadians on behalf of your views, or you can do the job that's asked of you. And in some cases, and I heard this yesterday from somebody else who will go unnamed, in some cases, they're just going through and pulling people out of government agencies right now. People that promote disinformation, promote hatred of this country, promote hatred of the even people that are like, hard left, that are promoting hate against, conservative politicians. This government is going and talking to those people and saying, hey, you might hate the people that are fighting against us, but you can't disseminate that kind of information about anybody, including that party or those people like Pierre Poilievre, and you can't threaten those people if you work for the government. So either get your shit together or get out. They're doing it on both sides, but they're not telling anybody about it, because this is just information gathering at this point, shoring up what's going on inside the government. At least that's kind of what I got from this guy yesterday, and of course our conversation with Mubin. And then it's time to drop the hammer. From my understanding is that they're going to lay out over the next several months, at some point, they're going to lay out how this shit works, why it works, why it worked in Canada, who the bad actors are, and who it leads back to. And that is why, again, going back to the bots and the disinformation, that is why that effort is so fucking strong right now, because they're flooding the zone with as much shit as they can, because they're all scared to fucking death, because they know they acted inappropriately. They know they hurt Canadians. They know they're trying to, take over a government on behalf of a religion or a movement. And they know that the foreign interference that is involved in this is what props up this bullshit, right? So I think it's going to be fucking fascinating, because it's going to come out. Like this church stuff and the stuff that we're connecting dots to with Jordan Peterson and the government and bot armies and how the whole fucking thing works and his belief system, it is all going to come out. And it has to. We're not just going to fucking sit back and watch. According to everybody that we've talked to that's involved in these conversations, they're like, dude, it's going to happen. So don't worry about it. Right. So there's two different facets to remember as well. And I know, Locke, you don't have a lot of faith in the government, but you got to remember there's two different parts of the government too. And that's the elected ones that you watch that are idiots on TV. And then there's the actual government. You ever seen the CRA get it wrong? Probably not. You ever see these professional agencies that have done, like, their life's work is to serve the public, like as an actual servant, like a civil servant, not an elected fucking circus bear? Those are fucking good people, and they know what they're doing. And when it comes to intelligence, it's one of the most prestigious government positions that you can hold. They don't hire idiots, and they never have. CRA, same thing. So I just when you hear us talk about, well, the government's looking at it. Well, Justin Trudeau's an idiot. Well, it's not Justin Trudeau that's looking at it. Yeah. It's people that are way fucking smarter than Justin Trudeau that are going to take care of this. Yeah. It's just a matter of then they gave all that information to the idiots, and how they present it to us. That's the problem. Well, and it's a long game. That's why the freedom of patience, right? Freedom of information is a very, very powerful tool. And you can get your own information and you can find it out. And that's where the press comes in. And you need to find people like Max Fawcett and those guys that actually just... Glenn McGregor, by the way, did you see Glenn McGregor get beat up after Tammy Lich got let out of jail? Glenn trended on Twitter, just the name Glenn. And well, Sheila Gunn Reid was trying to say he attacked us. I'm like, you're not very smart, woman, because there was about 15 cameras on it. And sure enough, every other camera angle shows the actual story of what took place. I got it here. Do you want to watch it? It's fucking hilarious. It is like... Glenn looks like Kevin O'Leary, but like if Kevin O'Leary was a dangerous man. Seriously, he looked so fucking angry. It was awesome to watch. Here it is. And dude, Glenn is like one of the true good human beings in mainstream media. He really, really is. Does a fucking great job. I think if we had more people like Glenn, the world would be a bit of a better place. He's jostling for position to try and, get some B-roll and ask Tammy Lich a question when she's coming out of jail. And that's when this starts. It's fucking wild. Watch it. That's him in the blue.
That's good. You don't care.
Tough guy.
Tough guy. Yeah, exactly. Do your job.
Yeah, quite the group.
Yeah,
Nice
everything
guys
will be fine, guys.
I didn't know who that guy was
either.
either.
Fuck.
I don't know who he
By the
was,
way.
but I love the cop. I don't care.
This is what I'm talking about. I understand. Listen, you guys want to have faith, but
It's 15 people out front of a fucking courthouse.
You got to understand that. Remember, Locke, there are more good people in the world than bad.
yes, and
The
that's
bad
what
people
I
have
that's
louder
what I tried.
voices.
That's what I try to lean on. But I'm losing faith in our institutions. I'm losing faith in a lot of things,
And I understand that.
and it's eroding away.
Mhm.
I'm about to vote green. I am fucking this close to voting green.
Well,
You already have the
Greens are
membership.
conservatives that care about the environment, so feel good about it.
Are they? I didn't know that. I just thought they were like a bunch of.
They are
fucking hippies.
fiscally
Granola-
responsible.
I
Granola.
thought they were just a
Christian.
bunch of fucking hippies that just wanted everybody to recycle. That's what I thought the Green Party was.
No, they've always just really been progressive conservatives that care about the environment. You got to remember, Richard Nixon started the EPA and signed the Clean Air Act, and that was as conservative as it gets.
Huh? I didn't know that.
He was also the guy who founded Earth Day in 1970.
I knew
Really?
that.
Yeah.
I did
So-
not know that Richard Nixon founded Earth.
He's
Day.
also the guy that gave Elvis Presley a badge and told him to
That's
go
right.
harass drug dealers. So
Yes.
let's all just reel it in here a minute of the Richard Nixon love.
I'm not
That
a
is
Richard
true.
Nixon fan, don't get me
He
wrong,
also
but I
has
mean,
been
you know,
I
caught
didn't
on
know
tape
about the
several
Earth Day.
times talking about how much he hates the Jews. So let's not give him fucking way too much credit here.
he cared about the environment, but was worried about anybody who was, a member of the faith
Jewish.
of Judaism.
Yeah.
We're all conflicted,
We all have something.
especially fucking today.
Anyway, thanks, boys. That was fun. That was good. It was a good
time.
2-hour jaunt. Little rip into Bot City. Little takedown of Jordan Peterson's Russian faith. A little connection. I love playing connect the dots. It's like fun. It's just so much work.
Did a
Like,
great
that's why I
job
love-
with that today, by the
Yeah.
way. Like,
Yeah.
that was a great way to sum that up. Like,
Oh, yeah.
it
Perfect.
went
was-
from A to B, and it was clear as day. So thank
I
you for
just
that.
don't like doing all that work generally. I could do it more, but it's
It's
like
a lot of
fucking
work too, though. Like it's a
Yeah,
ton
because
of
you gotta
fuck else are you
label
doing?
stuff. Well, no, because I got to label stuff and I got to rip video and I got to fucking, put things in order. And it's like, that's my one fucking thing. It's like the work involved with using your brain to sequentially kind of take people through what happens. I'm like, listen, it'd be better if we could just go on and say that guy's a fucking idiot and not give people receipts, right?
Yeah.
It's way easier.
Can't do that though.
Don't trust that guy. He's
Well-
a fucking idiot.
And if you like what you heard today, donate to us so that we can hire people to do the clippy parts, and Dean can just do the good parts of the reading and bring you the story. So there you go.
And I'm just going to show up, and every once in a while, I'll talk about my balls.
Okay, I like it.
Couldn't get through the show without it, eh?
Good to see you, Paul.
It's good to see you too, Locke.
Linz, good to see you, brother.
I love you,
Dean,
pal.
Have a good night.
Great to see you too, brother.
outta
Talk
here.
to you
Take
soon.
care.
That is Lachlan Cross, 957 Cruise FM in Edmonton. Speaking of those donations in the chat, if you're watching this, we put the big Ko-fi thing so you can buy coffee, not Kofi. I know
Coffee, yeah.
so you can donate to us if you like, so that we can try to raise more money, so that we can continue to battle this bullshit and continue to bring you the truth, and at least be able to put this stuff together for you. If you could donate there on a monthly or one-time basis, doesn't matter to us. We're just grateful for anything you could do to help us amplify the shit that needs to be amplified to be able to fight the stuff that's amplified by bad people. So if you could do that again, it's coffee.com, ko-fi.com/Dean Blundell. Super easy to do. Paul, really appreciate it. When's the next True North Eager Beaver podcast? When can we expect another live program?
Another live program. I'm aiming for Tuesday evening. Tomorrow, well, we're thinking of doing Tuesdays and Thursdays, but this Thursday tonight, I have a garden party I have to attend for friends who I haven't seen in about 2 years. So,
what are you, a hippie?
Nothing tonight.
Garden
Some
party?
kind of hippie? What are you?
Well, he said it's in his backyard. He's having a garden party. I'm like, okay.
Backyard party.
Having people over for a barbecue.
That's pretty hoitery-toitery, if you ask me.
We're in Ottawa, remember?
Barbecue. Oh, I forgot. Yes.
Christ. Did it get stuffy and pretentious in here all of a sudden?
I gotta sound fancy. I'm just working class. Remember, I gotta sound fancy once in a blue moon.
Are you gonna get dressed up?
No, I'll put on a pair of shorts.
Are you gonna have do you pre-drink before these events?
Oh no, I have to drive there, so there'll be no drinking tonight.
There'll be no drink. Oh, so
what
you don't
the
drink
fuck
and
are you
drive.
going for?
I don't drink and drive. I don't do that at all.
Well, you drink an Uber, dude. Just go out.
I could
know
do
you
that,
love your
yeah.
pints. I know you love your pints.
I could
Just
do
drink
that.
an Uber, dude. How far is it for? How far is the garden party?
It's about 20-minute drive from here, so.
Yes.
20 minutes an Uber, $30.
Yeah,
Big deal.
$30.
Yeah, true
Go
enough.
there, take in
Sleep
a
there.
6-pack, maybe some absinthe, couple lines of Coke, do some bumps, feel fucking great.
Then you can drive. You'll be fine. Don't listen to me.
Yeah, you need to Coke and straighten out so you can drive.
That's all. Yeah. Just stay in the garden after the garden party.
You mean the backyard? The
Yes,
backyard.
That's
The
it.
garden. Anyway.
We shall attend the garden party. I'll put my monocle on.
Be begging in the garden this evening, princess.
Anyway, make sure you download Paul's podcast. It's called the True North Eager Beaver Podcast, him and Douglas Connors. It is absolutely excellent. Super
Thank you.
accessible. It's fun. He's Mr. Grizzly. Doug's Mr. Beaver. You can't miss it. It is terrific. Go and download it wherever you get your audio podcast. Same with the Cheaple Shepherd podcast with Ryan and his lovely wife, Ashley. Go and subscribe to that one as well. Follow Ryan on
check
Twitter.
it out. We took one out yesterday from the Blackball podcast. Actually was on there, and it's on our channel as well, broadcasting right
Cool.
now. Yeah,
Cool.
Yeah, dude, it was like fucking some of the most stunning content I've heard in a long time because your wife opened up about her dad murdering a dude.
yeah, and living with that as like she was a little kid when it happened, and living through that entire saga. So she broke it down really well with James on Blackball last night, and
check that
you can
out,
find
too.
it on his podcast and on ours, which is also on Spotify now, and you can Apple and all the places you get your
All of
fine
them.
podcasts.
Yeah. It sucks going through that list of places you can find stuff, right?
There's so many.
Apple, Google, Spotify, etc. That's all I was told by our guys, our guy Jack, our new dude. I'm like, what do I do? I fucking hate talking about this. He's like, Apple, Google, Spotify, etc. That's all you have to say. Just keep saying. I'm like, all right.
Or just say
That's
where
all
you
you
get
have
your fine podcasts.
Yeah.
Everybody knows where to get a
This
podcast.
isn't that
listen to
fine of a
podcasts.
podcast, though. That's a problem.
This is a fun. Well, it's not a garden party podcast. It's more of a backyard barbecue.
I do own a monocle, by the way,
I bet you do.
and a top hat. It's right there.
Can you wear that on the next show?
Ryan, great to see you too, guys.
See you
Talk to you
guys.
soon. All right.
Take
there
care,
you go.
brother.
Ryan, Paul, Locke, everybody's in the house. In the hizzy. Oh, that was fun. You know, it's one of those things. I don't hate anybody. I don't hate Jordan Peterson. I hate what he does. Feel sorry for the dude. Kinda. Because it's all about addiction. And mental health in his case. And like this poisonous, Russian Orthodox religion he seems to really embrace. But I hope he gets help. I mean, that's the fastest way to declaw a lot of these people is to put guys like Jordan Peterson and Joe Rogan through some kind of de-radicalization training. Or at least just take their money away that they're stealing from people or getting from sources to be able to do this kind of bullshit. It's fucking wild. Have a great day, everybody. Really appreciate you being here. Don't forget, you can sign up for a newsletter at deanblundell.com. I want to thank our friends at kivlaw.ca. First of all, this podcast is powered by maybe Ontario's best defense attorneys. Well, I know they are because they're good human beings. Rob Kivlikin and his group of defense attorneys, kivlaw.ca, want to make sure that no matter what you've done, you give yourself every legal opportunity to have a wonderful life, learn from those experiences. And if you've been accused of doing something wrong, or if you're in deep, meaning you've done something or not done something, and there's a legal ramification for whatever it is you've done, maybe you've been drinking and driving, maybe you've done something really stupid, maybe you haven't, and someone's accused you of something, and there's a legal process you got to go through. Rob is your guy. He's the only lawyer I trust, and you got to trust him too. Go to kivlaw.ca today for more details, or email him, robert@kivlaw.ca today. Also, our friends at Easy Auto Financial for making this possible. If you're looking for a vehicle, these guys are terrific, wonderful people. They get you financing and do not charge you for it. Then they set up the purchase of that vehicle that you want to buy. It is all turnkey. Give them your information and they will make sure they get back to you ASAP. If you're looking for a vehicle, don't want to pay for financing, don't want to get hosed when it comes to financing a vehicle, make sure you call these guys. They've helped thousands of people. They can help you too. Buying a vehicle has never been easier, and it's never been less stress-free with easyautofinancial.ca. And Ed at Ed's Fine Imports, his gets are the best. I'm wearing them now. Actually, I've got the black and golds on. Black and gold. Steelers underwear almost, but not yellow. Gold. Yeah, that's right. The piping's gold. The brand is gold. The underwear are incredible. The underwear are gold too. Black. Camo. That's what I say. If you're looking for boxer briefs, you never want to have to buy another pair again. If you're one of those people like me who's like, yeah, I'm very particular about the underwear. And I want to keep everything separate. You want to make sure there's breathability in there. There's one pair of underwear for you. And as a Canadian man, or if you know a Canadian man and you want to support a Canadian company, edsfineimports.com is that company, and his Gitch are your Gitch. GITCH3 is your promo code. Order a few pairs today. Tell them I said hi. You'll get a free pair of underwear when you order 3 or more, plus a massive online store. So check them out today. Ed at edsfineimports.com. Thank you very much for being part of the show. Sign up for our newsletter at deanblundell.com. We will see you tomorrow, friends. Sam G will be our guest from the Where's Our Participation Trophy podcast. She is absolutely one of my favorite guests. Sam will be by tomorrow with the rest of the group. Congratulations, Sam. Spending an afternoon with us. That'll be a lot of fun. Probably not. Anyway, we look forward to it. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.